It's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch. Hey y'all, welcome and happy Monday. It's your boy Chris Avalon, and welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered, a show where we basically talk about all things going on in social media and hot topics. I'm stumbling over my words already. We're not even a minute into the dang show. So it's a show we basically talk about all things going on in pop culture, hot topics, you name it, we talk about it on this show. So we talk music, we talk movies, we talk politics sometimes. It just bleeds into the show. So, we can talk about pretty much anything on the show within reason. So if you have not already, if you can do me a solid, please hit that like button and that subscribe button, and also be sure to smash that notification button so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. So we got a couple of topics. Well, it's an action-packed show today, to be honest. I got an update on the Buffy the Vampire Slayer stuff that we talked about yesterday, courtesy of Daniel RPK. I didn't bring that into the show, so we're going to talk about it. Plus, there's some great news regarding 28 years later that we're going to talk about. Plus, we're going to talk about James Gunn revealing the official Superman poster and that the trailer is going to be dropping this week. I did give you all a little tidbit that I heard that we were getting a trailer this month, and now we got a date. So we're going to talk about that. Plus, I got some bad news for you Arianators, so stay tuned for that. Katy Perry is addressing the crowd leaving the Jingle Ball. So I'll give you all some inside tea on that because, people up here try to create a narrative that's not true. So we're going to talk about that. Plus, we got some great news about Madonna and M16. So we're going to talk about that because, that's what I'm calling the album right now, M16. And, M16 is a boom, boom gun. So that's what we're going to call it until the album come out and we can find out the title. Plus, we're going to talk about Adolph Schulz, who is still trying to go in on Kendrick Lamar and is not really understanding why he need to mind the business that basically pays him. So we're going to talk about that. Plus, Amber Rose out here talking. It's like, girl, just lay on your back and let rappers shoot, they nut up in you and just stop jumping into conversations you're not privy on. So we're going to talk about her and why she's saying that why Drake gets hate. And she's blaming it on the fact that he's biracial. So we're going to talk about that. Plus, we got some Wendy Williams tea, which is going to make Sabrina, they calling her a lie. Because they're saying she incapacitated, but if she was incapacitated, why was she in a car waving and smiling and looking like she was full of joy and things? So we're going to talk about that, and we got the video. So we're going to talk about that. Plus, Dawn Richard is spilling tea about Diddy. So we're getting into that. Jennifer Lopez allegedly thinks that Ben wants to get back with Jen, his ex-wife, as a Garner. So we're going to talk about that. Plus, we got some great news revolving Trinity, Bonet, and Doechii is opening up about dating a bisexual man. So we're going to talk about that and a whole lot more. So and y'all know this is a live show, so we talk about, it's an interactive talk show. People drop the things down in the chat, so be sure to do that throughout the show and all that good stuff. Later on, once the live is done, I will add timestamps throughout the show, so that way, if you don't want to go through, sitting through all the banter that we do on here, what I do with the live during the live chat, you can basically fast forward to the part that you want to, depending on what topic we're talking about, that you feel like getting the tea on, you can just fast forward to that and all that good stuff. So, let me hit my banner. See, we got some comments already. Hey, Onyx. I actually saw your comment before because I was busy putting the show notes together and stuff. I saw this comment earlier, but I was like, I'm going to wait until we get on the live to comment about it. So he's like, that's me. Hey, Rue. Rumor has it that Stranger Things news will be announced on Christmas Day to coincide with the 2 football games Netflix will be airing that day. That sounds like a smart thing to do. To be honest, I'm just like, whatever. Like, can y'all just drop the final season so we can all move on with our lives? Because number one, Stranger Things has been taking too damn long to come back on TV. I'm over it. And I'm just like, let me just see how y'all end this whole situation so I can move on, because we've already pretty much all moved on with our lives at this point. And Netflix is taking too damn long to put a show out. I just don't get it, but whatever. So, I'm going to watch the final season because I've been invested in Stranger Things since the beginning of, when the show first dropped. So I'm not going to just stop watching it now, but I'm just like, why is it taking y'all so long to put the show out? I get like the effects, and there's only 8 damn episodes. That's what I heard too. So it's like, y'all Was it all the effects or whatever? I just don't, whatever. I'm just like, just drop the damn shows. I told you I saw Millie Bobby Brown the other day because she was at the Garden during the Rangers game on Saturday. So, but I'm like, that's smart because football, people love, and especially in the United States, football, people love it. Stranger Things, that's a great way to promote something that you have going on because I've already complained many a times about how I despise how Netflix promotes their stuff. They just throw it up on the internet or they just throw it on the streaming service. I'm like, oh, so this is okay. I guess I'll watch it. Like they're really horrible with promoting their programs. So we'll see. Trump also says we'll take a look at the TikTok ban next month. You know, I have a warm spot in my heart for TikTok because I won youth by 34 points. This credits Barron. I told y'all that when it came to infiltrating the youth, that his secret weapon was Barron. I told y'all that. And then Trump was up in there saying like he the king of the internet. Now I wouldn't go that damn far. But he definitely kept you in the know of like who you need to be targeting. And then what was it there? I think Robert was saying something about how the Democrats don't want to really go in and be personal with people. They just want to go in and give their plans and get in and get out. I'm like, well, I'm sorry, but those days are gone. Like the days when you could just go in and speak policy. That ain't what America's about. Apparently, America wants to treat politics like it's the WWE, and everybody's got to be able to, come out in their little wrestling gear and their belt and do all kinds of stunts and shows to get y'all all caught up in it. That's not what politics is, but that's not what I don't think that's what the forefathers thought about when politics became a thing. But this is what it's become. So what do we do? So now it's either you either get on board and figure out how y'all can make it work for you, or you could just sit back and let MAGA continue to run this country into the ground because that's what's going to happen, especially when Trump's already pissing off a lot of his people. Anyway, there was a post that I put on Facebook, but it was a woman talking about that it's a horrible idea he's going to come in and get rid of all the migrants because nobody wants to have the conversation. But since this is independent media, we can have it here. I don't give a damn if it sounds racist or not, but sometimes the truth is in the racist pudding. But no white person is going to get out there and pick no goddamn strawberries or clean their own goddamn bathroom. So they're going to have the migrants come over here and do that. They're the only ones willing to do the damn job. So when you get rid of all of them, who's going to get out in them fields and start picking that shit? Not black folk, because black people are not going back to no damn slavery. I don't know how you going to make that work. And it's like, white people definitely ain't getting out there in no sun for no 14 to 16 hours picking damn fruit and vegetables. They're not doing that. So this whole border thing that they're talking on, he don't have a damn solution. And y'all know it, but y'all want to vote based on emotions instead of logic and facts. And I'm just gonna sit back and watch the shit show. And when the maggots get all pissed off because you promised us that, I'm like, y'all got short term memory. Y'all all got not cataracts, because that's with the eyes. Well, maybe you do. Maybe it's a scene out of Bird Box where your eyes is fucked up and you can't, see no evil and all that other mess. But do we have a frontal temporal dementia and aphasia? Like, y'all forgot that he was president before and ain't do shit when he was the president, except basically give his cronies, what they needed to get, like helping out his billionaire friends. He didn't help us, regular folk, but y'all got short-term memory, so whatever. I'm just, like I said, I'm gonna sit back, watch the shit show. I don't want to hear nothing. Don't come crying to me. I mean, don't, and look, I wasn't expecting Democrats to be any better. But they said the Vanguard said Biden hurt Kamala by using her as a DEI or affirmative action. First of all, her whole campaign was a mess from the goddamn beginning, and I think that may be a play in that. But Biden, his ego is why the Democrats freaking lost. He was supposed to be a one-term president. He was not supposed to be a two-term president. First of all, he ain't got the brain cells to even be able to pull off this presidency. And Trump ain't gonna be able to pull up. He barely had the brain cells to pull off this damn campaign, but he was able to do it because he put all the right people around him that pushed him out there. And him rambling on and saying all the crazy stuff, people look past it because, like I said, people voted with their emotions. And because who wants to give? I already told y'all, white people are not willing to give their power to no woman of color. They'll vote for an Obama before they vote for her. And I do feel like this is their reckoning because the way they did Bernie dirty, this is what y'all get because y'all want to put Hillary tired ass up there. And I ain't want her to be president. I ain't never liked the bitch. So, it's also been assuming filming has wrapped, or at least this is the final week of filming. Oh, Stranger Things. Yeah, why is it taking them so long to film? It's 8 damn episodes. And I know one thing, these 8 episodes better be 2-hour fucking movies. Because if y'all gonna give us 8 episodes and it's literally 40 minutes, but it's all special effects and green screen and stuff, I'm gonna be tight. Because it's like, it should not be taking y'all this damn long to film a show that's 8 episodes. And like I said, they better be 90-minute to 2-hour episodes. They'd be long as hell if it's taking you this long to film a damn show. How long they been doing Stranger Things? Stranger Things been on for like 4 seasons. They said filming started the first week of January. And that's why I'm like, it took y'all a year to do one damn show? Like, what the hell they doing over there? And I don't think y'all can't blame it on no damn writer strike. Kamala was not ready for president. No, child, don't even get me started. None of them, quiet as it's kept, none of them was ready. And while I said before, is that because Nancy Pelosi ain't want her to be president. I'm tired of her old ass too. I think she need to step down. Quiet as it's kept, they all need to, including that other asshole out who done destroyed Kentucky, Mitch McConnell, who all of a sudden want to act like he pissed off at RFK Jr. because of him trying to get rid of the polio vaccine because he's suffering from it. But I already told y'all that's how they vote. Unless they're affected by something, that's the only time they care. We saw it with Ronald Reagan. He was all against, him and one tit, Nancy, was against stem cell research until he had the Alzheimer's and he was getting all sick and stuff. Then they were all for it. But before that, they didn't care. And I have no empathy for them bastards, especially the way they treated people with AIDS in this country. So, fuck the Reagans. I said what I said. But anyway, without further ado, let's get into our first topic. So yesterday we talked a little bit about Buffy the Vampire Slayer, where Sarah Michelle Gellar went and recently appeared on the Drew Barrymore show that she had changed her tune because a year prior she was like, I'm not for it and all this other stuff. But then after doing the new Dexter series, which I actually got around to seeing last night, and I will say that, you know what? She liked the episode so far. They only put 1 episode up, which is kind of annoying because I'm so used to binging. Or at least like with streaming services, they give you like at least a good 2 or 3 episodes to watch to get the thing going. But since Dexter is Showtime, it's cable, they're not going to do that. And because I have Paramount Plus, that's how I watch it. So the first episode was pretty solid. I like where they're going with this. Christian Slater, I like him as the dad. The guy who played, I don't know his name. Look, I feel like the casting is actually on point. I don't think we've met LaGuerta yet, but we have met Angel Batista. The actor they got literally looks like him, down to the hat, the facial features, and everything. I feel like they did perfect casting with a lot of people. What's his name? Masuka, the Asian that does a stupid laugh. The actor they got is perfect that plays him. Patrick Dempsey, I'm like, is he trying to do a Bostonian accent or whatever when he came in? I like him so much. He reminds me of, I don't know why, but he reminded me like the Miami PD's equivalent of J. Jonah Jameson when he was coming up in there with the cussing and the thick Bostonian accent because it sounded like he was from Boston. But I like basically that. And then the actress they got playing Deb is perfect. She's, I believe, still in high school or whatever, got the potty mouth. And the actor that plays Dexter, I'm like, yeah, he really favors Michael C. Hall. And I loved how in the open, I don't want to give too much away, but I love how in the opening, he basically, we get to see Michael C. Hall, and it's like the end of that last series that we saw where Harrison shot him. And then it's sort of like, while his life hangs in the balance, we're getting the prequel of how he becomes the dark passenger and how he contains it and how the whole thing starts with him taking out the bad guys and his code of being, I'm a serial killer, but I only take out other serial killers so I don't kill innocent people. So the way they set all that up, I'm like, this is perfect. And I totally get why Sarah Michelle Gellar is like because she is in the premiere, why she's all for possibly returning for Buffy. But I want to remind y'all now what she said back in the day. She said, I'm very proud of the show that we created, and it doesn't need to be done. We wrapped that up. This is what I think last year she told SFX magazine. But I was like, hold on while I pull this picture up. So yeah. And this was courtesy of, CBR had the tea. So she said, I'm all for them continuing the story because there's a story of female empowerment. I love the way the show was left. Every girl who had the power can have the power. It's set up perfectly for someone else to have the power. But like I said, the metaphors of Buffy were the horrors of adolescence. I think I look young, but I'm also not an adolescent. But yeah, she's like in her late 40s. I think she's like 47. And I told you, my generation, we not out here looking like rotten milk. Like a lot of the people, we ain't my parents' 40s. Not saying that my parents are old because they look pretty much young for their age as well. But a lot of the people of my generation that was growing up, when you still look at some people, like when you look at Usher, you look at Avril Lavigne, and you look at Paris Hilton, and you look at all these people that came up around that time. I was gonna put Lindsay Lohan up in here, but she looked completely different. Miss Mama's went and went a little crazy with the surgery. But but then there's so many, like I said, coming up in my generation. Even the Sarah Michelle Gellar, you can tell she's older, but she still looks the same. A lot of actors from my generation pretty much look like that. It's like you look at James Vanderbeek, who was recently on The View talking about his cancer situation. He looks the same, but just older. Usher looked like he ain't aged a day. He still looked the same. So yeah, she said after that, she said, it's set up perfectly for someone else to have the power. But like I said, the metaphors of Buffy were the horrors of adolescence. I think I look young. And here's the thing, when she said that the horrors of adolescence, this was something that I pushed forward about yesterday when I was talking about that. I said the one thing I loved about Buffy, yeah, it was about she slayed demons and monsters, all kinds of other different things, weekly. But I love the fact that when I watched Buffy, I resonated so much with it because it was metaphorically using monsters to address things that people of my generation were dealing with at the time growing up, like those growing pains and the adolescence and falling in love. And when you lose your virginity, the guy turns out to be an a-hole. And that was the metaphor of Angel losing his soul. And, seeing all those different things that happen up in there and falling in love with somebody and them getting murdered by a damn nut. And then you losing your damn mind. Where's the point of you dabble into the dark arts to take revenge on the people that killed the person that you love? And then once you've done it, it's like that rage is so inside of you. How do you contain it? And so the build up to that and so many other different things that was going on with so many of the other characters and like Oz and equating turning into a werewolf with being a teenager in puberty. So I like all those different metaphors of the stuff that they used in the show. So I mean, I don't know where they're going to go with the new show, but we did discuss some things yesterday and where we think they should go with the show, but we'll get into that eventually. So, her appearing on Drew Barrymore, she now said the following. She said, it's funny, I always used to say no because it's in its bubble and it's so perfect. She added that because of And Just Like That and being on the new Dexter prequel series called Dexter Original Sin, now she's singing a different tune and said it definitely does get your mind thinking, well, maybe it could be anything. It's a universe, and it makes you realize that in this world, we need those heroes, I think more so than ever. And she's absolutely right about that. Now, here's the thing. What had happened? So apparently, Daniel RPK, who is like a big scooper in Hollywood or whatever, him and Jeff Schneider usually get the big scoops when it comes to spilling tea about stuff that's going on in Hollywood. And Daniel RPK has pretty much been on point in regards of like a lot, like he's not always going to be correct about stuff, and nobody really is, but he's usually on point when it comes to the intel. He's the one that recently, this tweet came out and said the following, that a Buffy revival spinoff is now officially in discussion, and they are trying to figure out what network to air it on. This comes after SMG, that's what we're going to call her, recently expressed interest in continuing the Buffyverse. And this was literally when it dropped yesterday. And then RPK pretty much posted it. So I got this online and I was like, let me just show y'all this because that's like a recent update. Now, there's all been rumblings about a Buffy reboot for a long time. I told her they were talking about making Buffy a black girl. And I believe at that point, I don't know if it was around the time when that story came out, because yesterday was the first time I heard about Zendaya's name being in the mix. I don't think I've ever heard that story, but I had heard stories around that they were talking about doing like a black Buffy and that sort of thing. And I know people was going to come up here and say, oh, here y'all go trying to make the show woke. And I'm like, talking about any kind of social commentary is the definition of wokeness. Being aware of people who are from marginalized communities is the definition of woke. So what the hell are you talking about? I just feel like people who try to use the word is basically what you're trying to say is that anybody that is different, that there could be a story told where we want to include different stories featuring people who are different than who you are. That's what you want to use the word woke as. So what? The only people that should be allowed to tell stories is like white dudes? I'm kind of looking at y'all sideways if men are the only ones that always run around, that they only want white male stories told. You don't want a woman to have any kind of power or story. You don't want the gays, you don't want the trans, you don't want black people, you don't want anybody that's not white and male. And it's like, so is it the deep-rooted xenophobia, misogyny, homophobia, racism? Is that all embedded in your spirit? Or you secretly homosexual, but this is the way you decide to perpetuate that energy by trying to cloak it in this woke narrative. So it kind of makes me wonder when it comes to that type of situation. But in regards of Buffy coming back, I do think that will be a cool idea because I would love to see her come back because I know, like, number one, nostalgia's sake, whatever the case is, and we all feel a bit of nostalgia, especially as we get older. We do kind of nod back to the things that we grew up with to give us that sense of comfort and that sort of thing. And there's a lot of shows and movies that are being revived with sequels of sorts or requels where we see like the characters that survived that show or movie that we watched decades ago gets to come out, but then you usher in a new cast to kind of pass the torch in some sort of way. And I don't think this will be a torch passing situation, but I would love to see Buffy in there. And what we discussed, like in between the segments that I didn't address in the thing, is that I do think that we could either have Buffy come back as a single mother, where her relationship didn't work out with whoever, whatever, maybe the husband died or they divorced, and Buffy is kind of going back and forth where she's struggling to save the world, but also, you know, keep tabs on unruly teenagers, rebellious teenagers, you know how the teenagers are when it comes to their damn parents. So, or preteens, or however they want to do it. But I'm thinking they should probably go a little older. Look, we already saw how she had to deal with Dawn annoying behind. So, if they had her as a single mother battling vampires and the monster of the week, and also, dealing with being a single parent, that I think will be an interesting story. Also, we were also mentioning in the show, it was mentioned that maybe we could make her a watcher, similar to what Giles was to her. But the difference is she could not only be a watcher to the new Slayer, but also help out and fight vampires. Because, when Giles was up in there, Giles was the Ripper at one point and they dabbled into that. But Giles wasn't like this big fighter. Like, he could hold his own, but he wasn't like, okay, you had to jump in to help him every now and again. But Giles held his own to a certain point. He was kind of like on the same level in a way of fighting, or maybe just slightly a little bit higher than the Scooby Gang. Like, the Scooby Gang held their own and helped Buffy out in certain situations, but they wasn't like skilled like how Buffy was and how she was good at improvising and all that stuff. So I think that is a direction that they could possibly go in. And I'm still keen on the idea of Zendaya coming back as a new Buffy, and they can, set the series in a metropolitan area instead of the suburbs. Because we already seen Buffy from a suburban point of view. I would love to see them um secure the series or set the series, I guess is the word, in a more metropolitan area like a New York or maybe in LA or a Chicago, like those type of spots. And, Buffy lives in a high-rise building or whatever. I'm not saying she got to be in the projects, but she could be in a nice little apartment complex or whatever the case is. And then there's all crazy enough stuff that's going around and we can deal with the issues of things that's going on in urban communities, but metaphorically cloak it as with the monsters and all the other stuff, similar to what they did with the other Buffy the Vampire Slayer. It's a different story. It's something, that's different than what we've already gotten. I don't want y'all to have to retread what we've already seen. So find a way to evolve the character and don't just bring Buffy in and just be some bona fide damn cameo. I was watching, what was it? Critical Overlord was saying something or another in regards to that. It was like maybe they can make it as a anthology series. Like every season, you bring in a different Slayer, and then maybe when it comes down to a big bad or something that's a huge event type situation that happens, that you could bring in your Buffys and your Xander and your Willow and your Faith and all these other iconic characters that we've grown to love, but bring in like do a season, an anthology season. Each season we get a different Slayer. But the question remains, would the audience be for a show like that? That every season we get a different Slayer without Buffy and stuff, Buffy or anybody up in it? Or would it have to just be that, okay, we do each season with a different Buffy, but you have to, or a different Slayer, but then you have to find ways to interject Buffy and Willow and Faith and Spike and all these other people into these, or maybe even Angel. He's still alive. Last I checked. And then bring them in and try to work it around that way. So I should also point this out that there are a few dangling issues with the Buffy reboot. There have been numerous attempts at reviving the character for an animated series or more spin-off shows and movies a la Angel, but a new chosen one was never selected. And we should also point out, remember, Joss Whedon, he's another issue because remember, he's been caught up in numerous controversies that discredited his, a career that found a situation that he's built based off of being like this feminist or incorporating these strong women into a lot of what he's created. Like when we see the show, then you hear the tea about him with sexual harassment and being abusive towards his actresses. Like there's been people such as Charisma Carpenter who has not had the nicest things to say about him. And then it also brought up that, what was it, in 2018, he had become persona non grata in Hollywood following multiple allegations of, sexism, abuse, infidelity from his ex-wife and co-workers. And they said that he was supposed to be working on a reboot with Monica Owusu-Breen, who's been done a lot of TV. And, we haven't heard anything since. Now, 4 years later from when that was first announced, the project is on pause. So with Joss Whedon not being involved, will that affect the show? Or can you do the show without him? And hopefully he don't try to start no mess by, trying to slither his way up into the situation. So it has got me wondering about a lot of things. But yeah, that's the latest on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. We'll see if it actually does come to light what Daniel RPK is recently reported on his social media, that they are looking to develop and bring the show to life, but they're looking for a streaming service. I'm like, well, if y'all looking for a streaming service, do y'all even have scripts and stuff written? Do y'all even have a cast? Is Sarah Michelle Gellar officially signed on, or are you going in a different direction with a different Buffy? Or are you going to continue with the idea of a Zendaya type of series with her in it? Because I definitely would love to see, once she brought up Zendaya, I'm like, I would definitely love to see Zendaya in there. First of all, I told y'all she's impeccable as Shani in Dune 2. I like, some of the action sequences she had in those movies. She could definitely hold her own doing, fight choreography and being a slayer. So I would love to see her. And plus, a lot of people like Zendaya. Zendaya to me is a bona fide movie star. We don't have a lot of people we can say these days are like movie stars in the vein of like a Tom Cruise, a Nicole Kidman, a Reese Witherspoon, a Julia Roberts, a Brad Pitt, a George Clooney. I was gonna say Jennifer Aniston, but Jennifer Aniston really ain't been out here doing stuff. Angelina Jolie, who else is out here? I gotta name some black folks because I'm giving all the white people flowers. Some your Viola Davises and your Angela Bassett's and your Denzels and your what's his name? Samuel Jackson's. Like who was the next generation of those? And there's not that many because a lot of these stars aren't really standing out. There's a couple. Zendaya's one. Tom Holland, her man is. He's a movie star, give or take. I think he's trying to push into there. Austin Butler, well, even though y'all hating on him for being cast for American Psycho, I don't have a problem with him being picked. I'm just waiting to see what Luca Guadagnino is going to do with the American Psycho. And quiet as it's kept, the original movie with um Christian Bale doesn't even follow the book all that much. So y'all getting mad over what? Like, you don't even know what the man's gonna do. So I'm waiting to see what he plans on doing with his interpretation. Just like he did a complete different version of Suspiria that's way different than what Dario Argento put out. And I love the Dario Argento Suspiria original film. So, it was like I said, Austin. But and funny enough, two of them I mentioned was already in Timothy Chalamet. I was like three of them was already in Dune too. So, we've got a couple of young people that I'm noticing that are movie stars. Barry Keoghan, even though he don't want to, not him, but the one I'm about to mention, even though he don't want to he don't like all the attention. Jacob Elordi, he's another one. And then, so there's a lot of them that's out here that's doing the thing. So I'm here for it, but I'm here for, in regards of the Buffy reboot. As long as they can find something cool to do with it, I'm here to check it out. And as long as they can find a way to put my girl Sarah Michelle Gellar back into the franchise, and I'm sure that Allison Hannigan and all of them are pretty much available. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below if y'all are here for it. Okay, so now let's read some comments. Yeah, I did hear you was mentioning that. She's gonna go back to California. She should do that. Look, she should go into she should stick with like I don't understand why people aren't interested in like going for governor and mayor. Being a governor or a mayor of your state, you get so much more done as a governor and a mayor versus a president. President, you're basically a slave to your donors because clearly big donors is who run our country, not the presidents. It's all whoever puts money behind these people are the ones who own you. So if I were a Kamala Harris or anybody, I would go for governor or mayor before I go for any other political seat. Oh, Freeway is available. Oh yeah, we talked about that yesterday, so I may have to check that out. I saw Drew Barrymore say she auditioned. Yeah, she did. We talked about that yesterday. I don't know if you watched the show, but yeah. Wait, I know you said something. You comment on something about Madonna, which we're gonna get into her later on. But yeah, she did say that she auditioned for Buffy, and I had no idea that. And I said that in the video. That was like I had no idea she auditioned for the part that Christy Swanson ended up getting. But then looking back, and I'm like, that was a good choice that they picked Christy. Now you can say whatever you want about her politics today, but she was a good Buffy. I actually like that movie. Paul Reubens was in it. The late Luke Perry. Yeah, it was a lot of people. Wait, what about LA? Is that Court World TV? Wait, what about LA? Did I say something that I missed about Los Angeles? Oh yeah, Michael Bakari Jordan. He's another one. Even though y'all be trying to throw not y'all, but I know people that be throwing shade at him regarding his. And I'm like, he's a good actor. What are you talking about? First of all, I used to follow him back when he was Reggie Montgomery on All My Children. So what y'all not going to do is throw shade at Michael B. Jordan. I like Bakari. Oh, you said I watched the new Dexter last night. Yeah, I saw it last night too because I told you I was gonna watch it. And I was like, oh, let me not forget because. And then I was like, let me pop it on. And I was thoroughly invested. Now he almost killed that guy that tried to rape Deb. And then he had the only way that was stopped him was Deb's drunk behind basically tackled him like a football. So there's some funny moments though. And like watching him for the first time when he would do his first kill and how it wasn't like I was a little messy. Like you said, Dexter was good and APAC Jesuits on our people too. Yeah. APAC is definitely the main ones behind the ones who owns this damn country. Oh, and so you were saying Buffy being set in LA. But I'm like, Buffy was already set in LA because Sunnydale was basically California, right? So I'm thinking like maybe it's time to just switch it up a little bit and set it somewhere else. But if they can find something to do in LA, then we'll, say, are you saying you didn't like the musical episode? You know what? No shade. I didn't like the musical episode either. I didn't. I was like, I understand y'all want to do different things. I already told y'all my all-time favorite episode of Buffy was Hush. That's like one of my favorite ones, and Earshot. Those two episodes are like one of my all-time favorites. And I did like, and of course I like the arc where she lost her virginity to Angel and he went and turned evil and she had to kill him at the end and he basically went to hell. Yeah, the final episode was funny too, because I still remember when they did that to this day. What was it? When Anya and she wanted to go have sex with Xander and she went, it's like I always remember that scene and I burst out laughing every time. Cause that's all she and Xander did was hunt like rabbits all damn day. and Anya was a cackle on that damn show. But yeah, the silent episode was good too. So I like when they experiment a little bit, but the musical episode, I didn't like it. Excuse me. Okay, so now let's move into our next topic and give a huge congratulations 28 years later because the people's out here excited for this new movie, all to the point that they started rioting because they want the movie on digital. But funnily enough, I have the movie on digital because I think I bought it a while back before I guess they took it off. And I guess maybe because people weren't all that. I guess maybe there wasn't a lot of rumblings about 28 days later and 28 years later that they kind of just stopped putting it on digital, which I don't understand why they do that. It's like if a movie is out there, leave it up there. But I think that's the fear also, because I know a lot of people, they're talking about physical media is dying and stuff. But then what if you lose the film? Like if you want to be able to buy it on a digital download, it's nowhere near available, then how are you able to gain access to this movie? They could just take it off at any damn time. And I don't like that idea. But if they're going to stop making DVD, if I'm the only one that's out here supporting physical media and everybody else isn't, then it's kind of like I'm in a lose-lose situation. So, what was it? Last week, the official trailer for 28 Years Later was released by Sony, finally. And funnily enough, it's like Sony about to get themselves a hit because y'all can't get one with that Spider-Man, you know, villains universe mess that y'all out here doing. But y'all gonna get one with this one because Danny Boyle's behind it. And, he directed the original one. And Alex Garland wrote the script for the original, as well as 28 years later and the sequel. What was it called? The Bone Collector, the Bone Temple, the Bone somebody, Skin and Bones. So according to Deadline, they said the 24-hour traffic for the 28 years later trailer was so massive that in response, Sony is releasing the original 2002 Danny Boyle directed zombie movie 28 days later on digital December 18th. So that's in 2 days for digital and rental. This is all because of the rabid fan response. 28 years later is a follow-up to 28 days later. And of course, it's not rabid fan response. Y'all want to capitalize off of this being a hit. So y'all want to get that little extra coin tied up in there. That's what y'all trying to do. But like I told you, I already have the movie. I have that one and I have the second one because I like both of them. Even though 28 months. What was the name of the sequel? I was 28 months later. I know it was 28 days later. Then it was 28 weeks later. That's what it was called. I was 28 months. 28 weeks later with Jeremy Renner. I like that one, but I think that the way they filmed that, it had a little extra Hollywood sheen thrown on it. But I thoroughly enjoyed it for what it was, even though it had its flaws. Now, they said now not only is the 28 Years Later trailer the most watched horror trailer of 2024 at 60.2 million global views, but it's also the second biggest trailer of all time behind It Chapter 2, 96 million views, 91 million opening, because that's how much it made at the box office, even though I prefer It Chapter 1 over It Chapter 2. But I think for the most part, a lot of people prefer It Part 1 with the kids versus when they were adults. That part, the second half always falls flat for me. And I feel like it did it in the original TV movie with Tim Burton and this reboot or remake with Andy Muschietti. Now, in addition, the viewership at 28 years later was higher than the first trailer drops of The Nun, which was terrible, 55.4 million with a 53.8 million opening. The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It with 55.2 million and 24.1 million. And Halloween, 2018, I should say, 51.6 million with a $76.2 million opening, as well as from this year, Smile 2 with 33 33.1 million views. Excuse me. A $23 million opening, and Nosferatu with 26.4 million views. And I'm actually hoping that Nosferatu does good because I've heard so many great things about it. And I'm really excited to see that movie. And I duly note that these figures came from Wave metrics and do not include TikTok views. Why? Because a studio trailer buy on TikTok can erratically mushroom viewing feeds. Back out TikTok keeps the competitive social media measuring field equal. 28 Horror, the 28 Horror franchise was originally, released by Searchlight Pictures and Fox Atomic Labels, blah, blah, blah. We don't really need to read all that. Now, I think that's all they are pretty much saying on this, but so this says Sony prevailed in winning the revamped franchise 28 years later with Boyle reteaming with scribe Alex Garland and star Murphy with Jodie Comer, Aaron Taylor-Johnson, as in Cillian Murphy, who is in the film. And a lot of people thought that, and that's Aaron Taylor-Johnson there, so he finally gonna get him a hit with Sony after Craven bombed. Everybody thought this was Cillian Murphy, myself included, because I was like, that kind of looks like him, but I was like, I hope it's not him. And is that a spoiler? Well, come to find out that's not him. There was an actor or this guy that Danny Boyle had saw that I guess inspired him, like this real skinny guy that not Alex, because I'm thinking of Alex Garland. That Danny had saw and was like, I want to put you in the movie. And he had this idea that he came up with and made him a zombie or whatever. So maybe he's like a newly mutated. Well, we already know they say they're infected. They're not a zombie. Child, they're a damn zombie. Like the way that just because it's not your George Romero zombie or whatever, they got this rage virus or whatever, they're infected. So therefore, they're moving around like zombies, except they run, which was similar to what we got in World War Z. They were kind of moving like ants. And then we had what was the other movie? Dawn of the Dead, which was written by James Gunn, by the way, in case people didn't know that, and directed by Zack Snyder. That's probably why the movie was good, because Zack didn't write it. And y'all had running zombies in that one. So how do y'all equate that when you had zombies running in that movie and they not zombies, when Dawn of the Dead is about zombies? But in this movie, they're not zombies because they called them infected and there was a rage virus. They're zombies. And that's what I'm standing on. Go argue with your mammy. They're zombies. So yeah, so I'm actually looking forward to seeing this movie. And even in the log line, it says Murphy's bicycle courier wakes up from a coma in a deserted London hospital 28 days later to find out that the world has been overrun with zombies. They even said it. And look, before y'all run around here talking about that the trailer would look like a ripoff of The Walking Dead, child, do we need to go file a lawsuit against Robert Kirkman? Because last I checked, they ripped off 28 Days Later, because 28 Days Later came out before The Walking Dead. And y'all, if you notice, the way the same scene where we see Jim's character, as in Cillian Murphy, waking up in a deserted hospital and the world had gone to shit, wasn't that the same way Rick woke up in The Walking Dead and in the comics? So it's like, is it a coinky dink? Or are we out here copying off of other people's stuff, but just changing it up a little bit so it don't look like an exact steelation of the situation? So I say all this to say, I'm pretty much excited for 28 years later and seeing where how have they evolved this whole zombie infected universe, because I'm like, I love zombie movies, I love vampire movies, I love demon movies, I love anything with monsters, creatures, whatever that case is. But if they could find a real cool creative way to evolve what we've already seen in regards of like viral zombie type stuff, then I'm here for it. And I'm hoping that's what they're doing with this movie and not just giving us a bunch of damn zombies running around and people trying to figure out how we're going to survive this and how we're in a peaceful time. We've seen that a million times, but if they got a new something to come up with, then I'm here for it. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay, so now let's get into Superman, which they dropped the trailer. Well, not the trailer. They dropped a teaser, but something else. A lot of people thought that it was going to be the trailer, but it was like, first of all, shout out to DC, because they really put their back into this, the promotion. I'm gonna show you in a second. I love the way that they created like this moving poster with David Corenswet as Superman. It looked really cool. And then they also revealed this motion poster, which gave some people, well, not only the motion poster, but they gave like this little teaser, which shows off the Fortress of Solitude. And I believe that he did like a little twist on the Richard Donner, what was it? The Richard Donner Superman score? Because he directed the original movie. So like the score in the original movie, I think they put like a little modern twist or something else on it. I don't know if I will play that here because I don't want to get demonetized, but I will show y'all the poster. Well, actually, instead of showing y'all the poster first, if you haven't seen it, I feel like let's go to the little teaser. Okay, so hold on. So what it said, teaser trailer this Thursday, and it says look up. So it's showing like the Fortress of Solitude, which looks really cool or whatever. And then here we have the moving poster, which I was like, this is awesome. I love something like this. And James Gunn posted it. Wait, hold on. I should be following him, by the way. Well, I don't know. There's been issues with my Instagram, like letting me follow people. So I always have to do it on the other page. So yeah, so the people were in the comments and they were like, look, my dear brother James Gunn, this poster makes me feel like I'm flying with Superman. What a great job. I'm very happy and incredibly proud of you. You've been working so hard and you did it. Beautiful music behind it gave me goosebumps when I saw it. Let's see. Okay, let's repeat that. It's a Richard Donner score. I'm goosebumps. I think you meant you have goosebumps. So yeah, they was like, James, if this is the movie vibe, count me in. Well, look, this is why I said I knew y'all was gonna run around. Everybody's up in the comments being all positive, and I feel like some of y'all was out here hating. And I was like, you know what? Y'all going, I just can't wait to sit back and say, I told you so, because I believe from the beginning. I was like, as someone who has followed James Gunn's career for as long as I follow it, from Slither to his screenwriting and all the other stuff and all the other off kilter movies that he's done. And here's the thing, all directors have had hits and misses, even Christopher Nolan, because I did not like Tenet. And the movie did what it did, but I don't think a lot of people particularly like that movie either. But you like it, or you appreciate it, or you kind of just don't go too hard on it because it's Christopher Nolan. But yeah, everybody's had a stinker or two in their career. And yes, James Gunn has had hits and misses. Everything is not always, you're not always going to hit the ball out of the park, but you have to realize that he is someone who understands superheroes, comics. He is an artist, so he's going to put the art before what these other people over there like Sony, all they worrying about is, okay, so what worked for this thing, let's put that in our thing. And it's all about the money grab or crunching the books and doing all this stuff rather than creating the art so that when you get the butts in the seats, so that when you make the money should be the last thing you worry about, not the first thing, because we got to like it to come see it and then want to see it repeatedly, which is usually what I do if I like a movie. If I like a film, I'm definitely going to go see it. And I've seen some people, I went with Henry Cavill. I want Henry Cavill, man. Okay, first of all, can y'all get off Henry Cavill's nuts? The man is busy. He's currently shooting Voltron. So he's busy dealing with that. And then after that, I believe he's going to go start filming Highlander, which was supposed to, I believe, start at the beginning of January. So, but I don't know how that's gonna work. I don't know how long. I mean, how many scenes he has in the movie, or how heavy his part is, or who he's playing. But yeah, Henry Cavill, y'all need to give up that man's job. He is not gonna be Superman. I did like him as Superman for what he was at the time. However, the Snyderverse did not work, because if y'all cared enough about the Snyderverse, if the Snyderverse was this amazing thing, then a lot of people would have came out and supported all the movies that were coming on that roster. Black Adam didn't do well. The Flash did not do well. You didn't come out and support Wonder Woman 1984, but just supported the other Wonder Woman. I don't think Justice League did as big as it did, but they was nice enough to give us a 4-hour extended version versus the long 2.5-hour one that we got in the theater, and even that one was a mess. Although I will say that I prefer the 4-hour version of Justice League over the 2.5-hour Joss Whedon one, that when he came in and put all them damn bright ass colors up in there. And then, I love Man of Steel, but Man of Steel didn't do gangbusters financially, and neither did Batman versus Superman. So while the movies they did okay, I don't think they did the numbers that Warner Brothers wanted it to do versus what the MCU was bringing in. And we can sit up here and have our conversations about MCU and how, they kind of on this thing where it's like I'm side-eyeing the crap they putting out and how it's like 110% not believing into what they're doing. And they try to do different things, but now it seems like now we got to go and bring Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans back because y'all don't like change. Y'all don't want something different to be on our screens and to come in and support. So now we have to get into a situation where it's like, well, now we have to look back on the past and people that brought in the billions of dollars because y'all can keep complaining about stuff that's different. And it's annoying. I'm all for a new idea or a new story or whatever if you have the creative wherewithal to put it in. So I believe in what James Gunn is got cooking for the upcoming DCU. And I feel like people should give it a chance before y'all come in and critique. Now I did hear like the teaser that we're supposed to be getting, they're gonna be heavily focused on the on Superman's dog, the super dog and stuff that he has, which I'm hoping that's not true because that was like a comic book movie, I think, posted that, spilled that tea a couple of days ago. So I'm definitely curious to see what they're going to bring with this, what David Corn Sweat is going to bring as Superman. I definitely get the vibe of um, Christopher Reeve from him, which I've already heard that the Christopher Reeve documentary is currently airing on HBO Max. So I definitely want to get around and watching that. And if you're going to take us back to what we loved about the original Superman back in the day, like what Richard Donner brought to that character, to the Superman franchise or the original Superman, and even giving a nod to the music and what we love about Superman, True Justice and the American Way and all other stuff and how you evolve Superman, especially into today's climate, because, news and media and stuff, that ain't working like how it used to. We see how news and media is acting now, especially when we're about to get this damn fascist in the White House for a second damn term. So um, when it comes down to it, it's like I'm just definitely curious to see what he's going to bring with this, and not only that, but all the other things that he has coming down the pipe. Now, I did see this post where from DC, where they said Superman, DC Studios' first feature film to hit the big screen, is set to soar into theaters worldwide this summer from Warner Brothers Pictures. In its signature style, James Gunn takes on the original superhero in the newly imagined DC universe with a singular blend of epic action, humor, and heart, delivering a Superman who's driven by compassion and an inherent belief in the goodness of humankind. And I think that's what we need to get back to, not being out here having Superman kill Zod and all that buffoonery that they put up in that damn movie. And I like that. I mean, I like David Corn Sweat. He was in Twisters. He was also in, oh my God, what's the name of that movie? Pearl. Yeah, he was in Pearl. Maxine ended up, Maxine, Miss Mama's ended up killing him. Or Pearl ended up killing him. Mia Goth. Um, and so, yeah, and he definitely looks like he would be the perfect resemblance of Superman. I know we want Henry Cavill. We love Henry Cavill, but Henry Cavill apparently is not enough to get people's butts in the seats to see this franchise. Because if y'all love Henry Cavill so much, he would be, $1 billion movie grossing thing. Cults are not enough to get the people all excited. No shade. I'm just saying. And I like Henry Cavill, but it is what it is. So now in regards of who's in the film, that we can wrap this up, it stars Eddie Gathegi from All Mankind, Anthony Carrigan from Barry and Gotham, Nathan Fillion, who I've been following him since he was Joey Buchanan. So I'm not look at me going back to the stories. Joey Buchanan on One Life to Live, because we talked about Michael B. Jordan when he was on All My Children. Now we got Nathan Fillion, who was on One Life to Live. And so, so Nathan Fillion, who was in Guardians of the Galaxy and the Suicide Squad, Isabella Merced from Alien Romulus, Skylar Gizondo from Licorice Pizza and Booksmart, Sarah Sampaio from At Midnight, Maria Gabriela da Faria, Wendell Pierce, who I believe is playing, oh my God, I totally forgot the damn man name, the one that run the Daily Planet. I wonder who they have playing, Jimmy Olsen. So it's like, yeah, when do but look, I know people was complaining about a black man running. I was like, but wait a minute, there was a black man that ran the Daily Planet in Batman versus Superman. Y'all forgot about Lawrence Fishburne? So, and then Alan Tudyk, he does a lot of voiceover work, but he's in it as well. Pruitt Taylor Vince, who's in a lot of stuff, but y'all know him when you see his face. A lot of people don't know his name. And then Never Howell. Now, there is no mention of Frank Grillo, but he is in the movie because we've seen pictures of him on set where he's also in Peacemaker as Peacemaker's father, but he's and he's in Creature Commandos. I should say that too. Now, Superman is EP'd by James Gunn, Peter Safran, Nicholas Corder, Chantel Nongvo, and Lars Winther. So here's the thing. I'm excited for this thing. As I've said it before, Peter Safran handles the business side, James Gunn handles the artistic side, and I really think that this is a perfect match. And I'm really excited to see what they're going to bring with the Superman franchise. So the haters, they're going to hate. You can continue to be on the sidelines with your arms folded and having an attitude and being all upset about it. And I'll be there opening night when it comes out in July, seeing this movie. And I'm definitely going to be putting all of my energy into the upcoming DCU product because I like the fact that it's darker, it's twisted, or depending on the thing. And it's not like trying to follow the Disney-fied formula of the MCU, that the DCU can take these different twists and turns and they're not being held by certain limitations because of who runs the company, like Disney does with the MCU. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story in regards to the Superman poster and the news that we're getting a trailer on Thursday? Which, to be honest, I really kind of wish that they would have given us a little something around. I think it's a little too early. Because it's like, 7 months away? I really wish they would have given us the trailer around the Super Bowl. That would have been a perfect time. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay. I was like, where am I? Oh, you said Killian will be in the movie. Yeah, he is in the movie. There's pictures of him that I've seen on set in like regular civilian clothes. So he's not playing that zombie, but he is in the movie. And he's executive producing it as well, which is smart because that movie pretty much put him on the map. Like, we didn't know Killian Murphy before 28 Days Later, and his career kind of took off from that. Yes, Henry Cavill Superman, R.I.P. Yeah, because remember they were trying to set him up to be in, when he showed up at the end of Black Adam, and then they was like, Black Adam bombed, so no Superman. So yeah. Um, yes, it's not Henry Cavill. David Cornsweet is the new Superman. Um, Zack Snyder isn't made for comic book films. Plus, the thing with him is Zack Snyder is good with visuals. He's horrible at writing. He's not a good script writer, and I think he needs to hire people to write scripts. Because here's the thing: I read Watchmen like 3 times. I have the graphic novels because I bought 2 of them. I bought 2 of the same book, the graphic novel, and I read it cover to cover. I love Watchmen. And when I watch this version of Watchmen, it's literally a shot by shot version of the graphic novel. I love what he did with the franchise. The only problem is that it lacks the soul and the essence of the film. So it's like you can put all this stuff on the screen and he can make all these things come to life, but there is no emotional depth behind what he films. I haven't thought that idea with him and the zombies with Dave Bautista. I thought that was a good concept too, but then they canceled the potential franchise they were going to put behind. I was like, I like what they were going with that, but they didn't. Instead, he wanted to give us some damn Rebel Moon, which in my opinion was 2 of the worst goddamn films of the year. They both came out this year, right? 2024 has been a pretty long year. But yeah, it's like he's good with visual effects and stuff, but he's not good with the filmmaking. So I think the Dead thing was great, but he shot himself with the R-rated Star Wars. No, well, look, they came out with a PG-13 version, and then they decided, oh yeah, we're gonna do R. I'm like, you should have just released it as intended, because the PG-13 is like, once we saw the original film and we saw how complete and utter shite it was, We weren't gonna go back and rewatch it just to see if it got slightly better. I'm like, if the other pundits want to go out there and do that, you want to torture yourself and do that, that's great. But like I said yesterday, or like I've said many a times, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, you a dumbass bitch. And I wasn't gonna put myself in that position again. Hell to the no, no, no. In the words of the girl Sheree Whitfield. Now there's a new Karate Kid movie. Oh yeah, that I heard that is coming out with with Ralph Macchio and Jackie Chan. I did see like some posters or something or another about it online, but it'll be interesting. I mean, yeah, it'll be coming out right on time because they could wrap up Cobra Kai and then they can go right into this whole Karate Kid situation. But it'll be interesting to see how they make it work because Jackie Chan is not playing he's not playing Mr. Miyagi. He's playing like the same mentor type that he did with Jaden Smith in that movie. And then so you have his character coming back, and then you have Ralph Macchio coming in. So we got to see where he fits in that whole universe. I saw the poster last time I was at the movies. Oh, with the Karate Kid. Yeah, I'd heard it was coming, but I totally forgot about it. Everything dark, negative, and humanity is doomed. That's why people hate Zach. To him, there's no hope or optimistic. Life has but and the one thing is, Superman was a symbol of hope. Like when you come into a world where it's just like dark and doom and gloomy, he was a symbol of I want to uplift the people. I want to help these people because while I couldn't help and do the things I needed for my world, I want to offer the services to this world that I've become accustomed to because my shit crash landed from Krypton into the America in Kansas. And then my family went, I mean, these people adopted me, and then I learned the American ways and all. No, true justice in the American way. So I learned the ways of how Americans do what they do, and I go out and I save people. So yeah, that what was missing from Superman is that sense of hope and humanity. And I truly believe that that I truly believe that James Gunn is going to bring that back. Lex Luthor is in the movie. He's being played by Nicholas Hoult, which I actually think was perfect casting because I was like, funny enough, Nicholas Hoult actually revealed that he was up for playing Superman. He was going to play Superman at one point. He was going to play Batman. Batman ended up going to Robert Pattinson, and he went up for Superman, which ended up going David Cornsweet. But then, which I thought was better. I actually like Nicholas Hoult, but I couldn't see him as either a Superman or a Batman. He definitely looks like a Lex Luthor. And I was like, that's perfect. And I think Nicholas Hoult is another one. See, I'm talking about young up and coming or young actors. He's another one who I think is an impeccable actor and is finally getting the recognition. So it's like Candace Owens was named Auntie Deadite. She does look like a Deadite. And the Deadites is from Hellraiser. she does look like one of them things from there. It said of the year. This seems to be from a pro-Jewish conservative. Oh, wait. The Deadites, no, Cenobites was from Hellraiser. Deadites was from Evil Dead. What am I talking about? It took me a second. I'm like, wait a minute. Deadites are from Evil Dead. Cenobites is from Hellraiser. It said it was shot here in Cleveland. Oh, yeah, I did hear that it was shot in Cleveland. Pat Cleveland. I don't know why she popped up in my head. And traffic was annoying on the days they I know they did a lot of on location shots they filmed a lot of it on location in Cleveland. He didn't even want to do like sets, which I actually appreciate the fact that he's like, yeah, I don't want to do like Hollywood sets. I want it to look as real and authentic as possible. And so I like that. Instead of doing like the whole combined Metropolis, which is like let's make it look a little bit like Chicago and let's make it look little bit like New York and combine all these different things. Because they kind of did that with the Batman, where it's like you see elements of New York mixing with London and all these other places. Because it was like there was a shot of like a scene where they were trying to do like a Madison Square Garden, but it was like Gotham Square Garden, and they mixed in all these different things in there. Is it me, or are people afraid of asking for help because Hollywood said asking for help is a sign of a weakness? I blame Tyler Perry and Ryan. No, I just think that people like Tyler Perry, well, Ryan Murphy does use writers. It's just unfortunate. I don't know who these writers are because the writing does still come across as shit. When I look at the writing credits and he does use people, Tyler Perry thinks he could just write everything on his own. And he's already built an audience of people who like the stuff he put out. So, but yeah, him, and then also, people still criticize Ryan Murphy for the writers, but I think it's because they're cheap. when they don't want to spend the money to have to pay people to write the scripts or whatever. But my thing is, if I have somebody who can come in and co-write, or somebody who's an excellent screenwriter, like James Gunn could get in the room and write a script on his own. Like he was somehow he wrote. I don't think he wrote every episode of Creature Commandos, but he wrote majority of the stuff, and he wrote the script for Superman. Not Toto. I don't think we in Kansas anymore. I'm surprised he didn't. Yeah, because it seems like everybody goes to Canada, right? But I kind of like the idea that he didn't go up to Canada. He was like, I'm gonna come. Maybe they got good tax breaks up in Cleveland. I'm sure they do. I mean, look, you got 50 Cent building a damn studio out in, I think, what was it? Where was he doing it? Kentucky or something or another? And he's doing it for the tax incentive. So there's certain spots in America, in the US, where you do get a good tax break. I think they're supposed to be, I think maybe even Atlanta too, because I believe that they're going to be shooting the new Scream movie in Atlanta, which looks a lot like Woodsboro. So yeah, a lot of movies and shows. Yeah, Vancouver is like a main one that they always tend to shoot up there. I'm trying to remember if they shot. I know Supernatural in Vancouver and all those other spots. Kennedy admits he supports the polio vaccine. I knew that would happen after the backlash from the. It's like once you have Mitch McConnell deteriorating ass, and all them other people come out and say go again. Oh, you trying to get rid of this because we benefit from it? Then you want to backtrack. But if you can continue to remove things so that way it's a way for you to own the libs, which I don't understand that, because everybody's affected when it comes to medical stuff. It's not just diseases, cancer, HIV, any kind of polio, whatever. You think about it, they don't discriminate against it. They don't care about your politics. They're like, oh, you a Democrat, let me give you cancer. Like, that's not how medicine works. So we just got so many damn idiots running around this damn country. But whatever. But Atlanta has become a filming hotspot. Yeah, that's what they call it, Black Hollywood. You said Superman's character was created in Cleveland. Oh, was it? I didn't even know that. So that's probably why he did it, as a nod to the history of Superman. It was like, well, we created we created the character in Cleveland, so let's film here. Let's base it here. Okay. I don't know why I was just thinking about Smallville. You know what's a show that I need to get into? I need to get into Superman and Lois. I haven't even gotten around to watching that show, and I know they just wrapped up the series, but I've been hearing good things about it. I need to get around to watching that, because I like the actor that played Superman on that show. Like, I've been following him since he was in, oh my god, I can't remember the name of that damn movie that he was in with Tom Hanks, where it's based on they said it's based on like a graphic novel or something or another, but he was in that, and he also was on Teen Wolf. That's where I knew him from. Okay, so where are we at now? Okay, let's talk about Miss Ariana Grande Frappuccino, who apparently, I'm sorry, Arianators, I got to put y'all on that Miss Mamas has no intention of going on tour in 2025. And I'm like, I ain't mad at her. She's done paid. Look, Ariana Grande at this point has paid her dues. She don't need to be out here touring. She don't need to be doing any of that other stuff, because she got a lot on her mind. And I feel like what we were saying before, that she's kind of in this place now where she's more or less interested in getting into the whole musical theater bag, rather than being out here on I'm gonna drop an album and I'm gonna get on my touring bag. I'm sure she's made a shit ton of money um from Wicked. So now, despite rumors to the contrary, Ariana Grande does not have a tour in the works for 2025, something her label confirmed on Twitter on Sunday, which was yesterday. So while Grande has denied rumors of a world tour, she has hinted at the possibility of a mini sampling of shows in between the release of the two-part Wicked films. Now, during an interview on the Shut Up Evan podcast, she addressed her desire to perform in concert again, but emphasized that it would likely be on a smaller scale due to her commitment to other projects. Grande's last tour was the Sweetener World Tour, which ran from 2019 to 2019 to 2019. Y'all can just say it from a year for a year and support her album Sweetener. And thank you next. She has since released her 7th studio album, Eternal Sunshine. Now, in the wake of her Wicked success, Grande has stated that she plans to shift her focus towards acting in the next decade. While she remains committed to music and performing, she believes that acting allows her to explore different aspects of her artistry and heal in a way that songwriting cannot. Yeah, because that music is something that is you can express yourself in that awesome kind of way, but it's not something that is the end all be all. It's like I need to exercise this energy in other ways, and you diving into this character that is a complete different version of yourself, and you kind of challenging yourself in other ways. I think that's great because after a while, it's like it gets boring, it gets tedious after a while. It's like okay, I'm in the studio, I'm putting an album together, then I gotta go travel around the world and tour it. I just saw this recent story about Charlie XCX talking about because of the erratic way that she performs on stage, that now she's got like nerve damage in her body. And I said, yeah, probably from bopping your head around and throwing yourself all over the damn place. That does take a lot of wear and tear on your body. And this is why you have a lot of celebrities or a lot of performers like a Taylor Swift or Madonna and so many others who travel with masseuses and people and chiropractors and people who are going to really keep you on your toes and work out those kinks in your body. Because it's like, when you jumping around on stage and all that other mess, it takes its toll on your body. You seem like the damage that Madonna has put on her body, as well as Michael Jackson, who got caught up in prescription medication because of the damage he did to his body, as well as Prince. And so, and Lady Gaga over the years has complained about the erratic pains that she suffered from performing and all that other stuff. So yeah, the traveling around the world performing your music is not easy. At least with acting, you can stay in one spot. If you're going to be in a movie for 3 months, you film it, and then you don't have to be traveling all over the place. So you're basically using your brain muscles because you're just memorizing your lines and you're delivering stuff. And if things are called for that are physical, then there's stunt teams and you can interject yourself in those situations. But if it comes too much, you can always have your stunt people step in and handle all the rough stuff. So you don't have to really put a lot of wear and tear in your body. And I feel like because Ariana Grande was an actress first before she was a singer, she was into musical theater. She was a Nickelodeon and all other stuff. And then the music career blew up after that. But Ariana Grande, I believe through and through, is a singer and an actress. And so to see the success of her with Wicked, I would definitely love to see her do more musical theater. And especially if she wants to jump into doing Broadway and do or the West End and do a show for a couple of months. But look, they said this. Now, yesterday, an Ariana Grande fan page pointed out the musician's Ticketmaster event page had been quietly updated. Now, at the time of the post on Twitter, 15 new events were added to Ariana's 2025 performance calendar. However, shortly after the page's upload gained steam, Grande's record label Republic released a statement, viewable here, courtesy of Pop Crave, because hold on, and I do have the screenshot. So hold on as I go to that. So there's Republic Records with their girl up there. And it said the following. It said Ticketmaster is currently showing 15 upcoming events registered to Ariana. Previously, it had shown 0 events. Now, Republic said the following, courtesy of Pop Crave, not Pooh Crave. There are no plans for a tour next year, but Ariana remains deeply appreciative to her fans and all their continued love, support, and excitement. So no shade. I was not excited all about Eternal Sunshine. In fact, I found the album to be a bore. But Ariana was out here exercising her artistic whatever, and it worked. And if you Arianators love it, that's fine. But this was not an era that I was all that excited about. So if she wants to come and do a little mini tour, I think that would be cute or whatever. It's like you do like a couple of small venues, like a Radio City or something like that. And I was like, I'll do like maybe a night there. And if all the other fans get all upset that they can't get in and see this show, oh well, you're not gonna be able to get everything that we want. That's just the way the world works. But I just want to do a small little intimate thing, give the fans a little mini tour where I could just tour for like 2 months. And then I'm back to my responsibilities of acting and promoting Wicked Part 2 and all that other stuff. So I would be all for that. But I guess what she's not interested in, that was probably an initial idea in the beginning, but I feel like maybe where her head is at this point, she's not relatively interested in making, promoting Eternal Sunshine. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this? Or are you guys disappointed that Ariana Grande is not going to head out on tour to promote her seventh album, and you're not going to be able to see her perform those songs that's on that album live? Whatever your thoughts are on that, let me know in the comments down below. Okay, so we have comments. Speaking of which, so Felix says Ariana doesn't look healthy right now. She looks too fried, and I know she recently went on this whole thing on social media about people criticizing her looks, but yeah, she does look a lot thinner than normal. And I'm hoping that this is not this Hollywood thing, because the one thing I don't understand, like, I get when some people out here using Ozempic and stuff to lose weight, but then you see people out here who are really skinny that are even out here still using it, and they should not be using that. Like, doctors, I hope y'all not just giving these people who are celebrity stuff just because they're famous. You can make a little money off of them. Because like when we talk about the insurance companies on this other stuff, y'all are modern day drug dealers. That's why I was thinking about that joke that Chris Rock said about the health CEO that Luigi pop out. And he was like, yeah, the guy was a father and he's not going to be able to hang with the kids for Christmas. And they lost, he was a husband and a father, blah, 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 so on and so forth. But he said, but sometimes drug dealers get shot. I did cackle when he said that, though. And then made the comment what I said also about if Luigi looked like Jonah Hill, y'all would not be going so hard for him. I was like, yes, the attractive part, that is the icing on the cake. But I'm glad that a lot of people are still discussing this whole thing regarding the disparities of our medical industry and the fact that there's a bunch of crooks that's running it. Okay, so Robert says, I even think that her pop music is on hiatus. Even Troy is looking back at wanting to make movies. Same with Charlie XCX. I kind of feel like we're going to see this shift because only a few artists are getting the label's budget, like Taylor Swift, and very few that the industry knows each time they put out something, it's instantly the best-selling album of the year. After the first week in sales, labels only invest in artists that are guaranteed an instant success, not a slow burn success. Well, here's the thing. They got to realize that everything is an instant with a lot of people. Maybe y'all think that we all react to things because of social media and things of that nature, but you have to give things time to build. And I could totally see why Charlie and Troy and even Ariana are interested in getting, because there's really no money in music. The only way that they make money is from touring and merch. So I'm spending millions of dollars to put an album together and have another show for it. We see a lot of these artists running around broke. So you said, well, Charlie said she's got nerve damage from this tour. I don't think she's used to doing a full scale. She's not, because I don't recall Charlie even doing a full scale tour until the whole Brat era. So um it's funny because Robert was saying that maybe what she should do is just stick to festivals. There's nothing wrong with being a festival act. I was like, yeah, I'll get up there and I'll do a couple of festivals and they make a shit ton of money doing these festivals. I do that. Pay me $10 million to do a festival show each. That's a good amount of coin to accumulate. They ain't gonna handle everything. I mean, but if I'm gonna do a tour, what you should look, this is why I said what you should have did was just stick to theaters. You shouldn't have, I don't think Charlie should have done arenas. I get the whole hype around Brat, but I don't think she's an arena artist. She doesn't give me that. I feel like even though she's trying to play off this, I don't want to be a part of the mainstream, although you were I felt low key enjoying the mainstream accolades, but she tries to play it off like she's sort of like this underground rebel type. And I think she has her toes in there and she goes back and forth with both feelings. And I understand that because as an artist, you kind of be like, I don't want to come across as a sellout, so I don't want to jump over in there, but I still want to keep my feet over on the underground side. And you can try to figure out that balance. But for me, I just been like, you know what? The arena stuff was way too much. And I'd rather just do a theatrical tour. You could still give an arena experience in the smaller venues. I've seen it happen. Kylie's done it. Madonna's done it. So many artists have done it. So it is possible. I read that one already. Read that one already. I think Gen Z and Gen Alpha is now the target demographic of popular music, and artists with mostly millennial fan bases are being pushed to the back. Yeah, because it's like when you get to a certain age, they try to age you out and push you out and stuff, and you got to constantly fight that whole situation. It's ageism. Because it's like I told you when I was at Jingle Ball, the type of people that they were pushing up in there was like the Benson Boones and the Tate McRae's and all these other people. That's the next generation they trying to push for these little kids or these young people, whatever. And it's just like this whole here today, gone today thing. This music industry is trash. It's like I like a lot of the art and stuff that comes out of it, but it's the corporate machine behind the music is just what irritates me. Ariana can't eat a full meal. It's not a disorder. She's hyperglycemic, meaning she can't eat a lot of foods because her body rejects it. That's crazy. I wonder if she's ever be as popular as when she was in 2018-19. That felt like the peak popularity. Ari Taylor seemingly took that spot. Yeah, I just don't. Maybe I think she can go back to that. I don't know where she would be able to go sonically with her career, but Eternal Sunshine, I just didn't particularly care for that record. That's probably because no one really listens to the radio anymore. Yeah, which is funny because I was at who was it that said it? I'm trying to remember who it was. I was like, oh yeah, y'all should know this song. It was Megan Trainor when she was like, y'all should know this song. It was on the radio. And I'm like, sis, who listens to the radio? Because people don't listen to the radio. I mean, unless you talk about iHeart, which I were basically sponsored by, but people ain't listen to the radio. I mean, you probably listen to like Sirius XM or iHeart. I don't even listen to that. I'm more or less, some people are just Spotify, some people are Apple. I'm Apple Music. That's what I listen to. So I don't really listen to the radio. I wouldn't be able to tell you what's on the radio. I told you the last time I listened to the radio was when Wendy Williams left. That was the last time when she left to go to TV. That was the last time when I closed the book on music or the radio and what was on there. So I wouldn't be able to tell you what's up there right now. Everything relies on streams now, YouTube and all the music apps. Exactly. We don't need to. Cars have Bluetooth technology, therefore it killed the radio and gave us full control. Even CD players and tape players aren't in vehicles. Yeah, they're not. So it's like you can't listen to a CD or whatever. It's like you literally have to you could hook your phone, I believe, up to whatever's in your car and play music that way. It's all digital. Gen Z and Gen Alpha acts, does festivals and perverts that as it's not only them and builds the fan base. Wait, what? Gen Z and Gen Alpha acts, does festivals. Do people actually go to do Gen Z and Alpha people go to festivals? Listen, mostly cars have USBs. Yeah, it's like you could, which is why I fill up flash drives to hand out to people now instead of making CDs. Plus, you could fit so much more on a flash drive. I can put 800 songs on a flash drive. I need to learn how to do all of that. You know what I was even thinking? I was thinking of trying to learn how to DJ so I could do all that stuff. I mean, I always did DJing, which was like I would just match songs and stuff on CDs. And I wonder if I need to ask her, Lady Bunny. I'm like, sis, you still out here DJing with CDs? Because I know she used to do that too. She used to be out here DJing with CDs. Now everybody just basically use like USB drives and all that stuff. So, well, flash drives. I saw pics of her from 2019 and I could barely recognize her as Ariana because she was tan and with brown hair. I become so used to seeing her with blonde hair and pale skin. Yeah, she kind of evolved after I guess she stopped doing the music. She just changed up her whole look. It's been so long since she released the album, so probably launch a tour with the next one and include a few. Yeah, like kind of like how they said what she did with the Sweetener tour. She performed 2 albums from that era. Well, 2 of her albums that I guess she didn't tour, and she heavily relied on that. When I was making CDs, I could only fit maybe 15 songs on. Yeah, see, that was kind of boring because I mean, not boring. That was annoying because you could only fit a certain amount. But what kind of a tour? I don't think it was an arena tour, right? She was probably doing smaller venues. Or maybe a lot of us wasn't paying attention until Brat became what it became. Don't bang her head. She's going to set up a medical injury that will forever Um, I don't think she's banging her head. Well, maybe because she's doing like a lot of this, and yeah, you are putting wear and tear on your spine and your neck and all that other stuff. So yeah, you shouldn't be like the thrashing of the neck where you're doing like that head banging stuff. That will hurt you after a while. But she needs to walk. She needs to hire a chiropractor or something. I need Kylie to shift venues. Phoenix is about to get canceled. She needs to shift the 6K venue in downtown Phoenix. I was being ignorant, but Adante was right. Kylie is overestimating her popularity. I don't think she's going to be able to sell out everywhere. That's why I said that in America, she should have just did like the big cities where all the gays reside. I don't know if she should, and then depending on like, you should kind of downsize it to different places. Like doing the Garden, that is a dream come true. Of course, people are going to come out for that because the amount of homosexuals that live in New York. So you already know, like, she's already got those 2 nights on lock. But everywhere else, I'm kind of worried. LA, she's not going to have a problem. Chicago, I don't think she'll have a problem. Philly, if she did that, she wouldn't have a problem. All the LGBTs that live in Philly, she would definitely sell that out. I don't know all of her dates, but it's like, yeah, she shouldn't have. But I guess it's also kind of difficult because how do you choose from you go to big spots, you do arenas, you do smaller venues, you have to be able to try to fit all that equipment because it is all set up a certain way. If you're renting a lot of this equipment, which she is, if it's not going to be able to fit in a smaller venue, how does that work? Because you can't fit arena stuff in a theater. And it's like the Vegas residency was what pushed her to tour the US now because she knew people were coming from all over to see her. Well, hopefully she'll, sell out Phoenix. But you said Phoenix has lots of empty seats. Only the floor was sold out. Well, hope and pray that she sells them seats out at the last minute because that usually happens at a lot of these arenas. She's doing 2 nights in Miami, which I'm sure she'll sell that out. I think it's time for Ariana's Ray of Light album. You know what? Maybe she need to go in that direction. Maybe she needs to take more, get dabble in electronic music. If she was to do that, if she was to go more into dance music, and I'm not talking about yes and, I'm talking about she was to really take a risk with some dance music and stop the urban cosplaying and all that stuff, I'd be here for it. I can play CDs on my Xbox, but I don't anymore. Or like well like if you have like DVDs or Blu-rays, you can play it on that and other things as well. Kelly is doing 2 nights in Miami as expected. Phoenix is different markets. Some big cities was going to be a flop. She's doing a Latin America tour, so that hurt Phoenix. So what do you think that just because she's doing Latin America, that people would rather travel to Latin America to see her versus going to Phoenix, especially if they live in the town? And then could it be because they know the tickets will be a lot cheaper if they go to Latin America versus Phoenix, Arizona, where they'd be crazy out here with Ticketmaster and all that mess? So I guess we'll see. Anyway, let's move on. Let's talk about Katy Perry. So we talked a little bit, well, a lot of bit about Jingle Ball because I told you guys that I was, as somebody who works at the Garden, I was actually there, and I gave you all the inside tea of what was going on. And a lot of people was on social media talking about. Well, there was a couple of people because there was this video that I'm gonna show y'all in a second that was out here saying that Katy Perry was performing to a half-empty arena. When she wasn't. One, she closed the show. Her performance was going on a little bit too late. I believe that she was scheduled to end or wrap her performance around, I believe, 11:15 is when she was supposed to wrap it up. Apparently, things went over a little late. There were some performances that went on prior to hers that kind of went over. There was, I don't know, there was some stuff that just went down. So it was just, a lot of technical stuff that, well, I guess I didn't really notice the technical stuff, but I was looking at the expected times that we had scheduled of the different celebrities and was like, Katy was supposed to end early. And that would have been perfect that everybody would have been able to stay if she would have ended her set a lot earlier because, in New York, the train stopped running at a certain time. So, well, especially if you're going into Jersey, they end at a certain time. So the crazy part was people was out here saying that she was performing to a half-empty theater. So Katy Perry took to the stage as the final act of the night, and unfortunately, during her set, the arena started to empty as fans left before the concert ended. Now, while on stage, she did address the crowd leaving, and fans later shared on the TikTok why they had to go early. So I do have that clip. We're going to take a gander over to the tiki-taki, and we're going to play it. Please hold.
Hi, everyone. I know, it's crazy. It's so late. It's so cold outside. You're like, you had way too much sugar. You don't know whether to stay or go or be in or out or hot or cold. Just make up your mind, then! It's nice to see you. I'm Katy Perry.
Okay, so when she did that, the thing was, that was her way of also, the next song that she went into was Hot or Cold, or Hot and Cold. And so that was like, okay, I saw what she was going, because you're in or out or hot or cold. I was like, okay, girl, I see what you're doing. That was your transition into that song. But it was cute or whatever that she did acknowledge that everybody was leaving. But she should have realized, because she went on so late and the show went on so late, that people were going to leave. And I know people trying to throw shade and be like, well, oh no, because she was putting on a terrible show, whatever the case was. That wasn't it. It was the fact that, Jersey, trains stop running at a certain time. If you don't catch that last train, which would be 12 something in the morning, you ain't getting home until 5. The next train don't show up until 5 a.m., which, thank God I don't live in Jersey, because I would be pissed if I had to deal with that and I can't get home at a certain time. Now, Long Island, they have their trains and stuff that runs, but they, after a certain time, even in New York, depending on where you're going, the trains run slow. Like, if you're, first of all, we have the worst, in my opinion, I feel like we got the worst goddamn subway system. The MTA is trash, although y'all continue to try to charge us, a lot of money for fares. And I told y'all that they try to do some stupid little survey where they talk about they want to give people $1 million to find out why people are hopping the train. I'm like, are you dumb with this survey? Like, wasting our time. We're trying to let us try to see why people are evading paying their fares, and you need to pay you want to pay us $1 million for this kind of answer, when you can just look at the MTA and see why it's trash. Where it's like we constantly are in train traffic, where I'm constantly seeing people that's supposed to be fixing the subways just standing around not doing nothing, but they working the clock and getting paid a shit ton of money to do nothing, and then the service is still the same. The signals of the trains be horrible. But you go to other countries, they're way more advanced than we are. But that's probably because they built their subway systems later, whereas our subways in New York is over 100 years old. So it could be that as well. But you would think that they would have figured out how to make the technology better for the subways. And there's certain cool little trains that they have. I saw like they got like highly developed, like these really cool looking C trains and A trains, but they ain't doing that for other places, I guess, if you live in certain spots where there's people of color. So basically, some people took to the TikTok and said that the reason why they were leaving was because they were trying to catch the last train. So while she performed at the end of the night, the last trains out for the city were about to leave and everyone was rushing to get to them. One fan even commented on TikTok that she stayed through the end of the night and was stranded in New York until 4 in the morning. Well, the good thing is it was a Friday. So if it's a Friday and you're old enough to be out in the streets, what you could do is you can entertain yourself by going to the club. The good thing about New York City is that we have clubs that stay open till 4 in the morning. So that's probably why they enforced the whole, well, we don't have trains running back until like 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. But then you got to realize also there's people that work jobs and get off at midnight and they want to be able to catch those trains and they live in Jersey. What about those people? Or people who work 2, 3 in the morning? What about those people? But I guess the Jersey Transit ain't thinking about all of that. So, what else? Also, the other people that I told you that performed were Tate McRae, Teddy Swims, Benson Boone. I almost said Benny. See, we friends. I call him Benny. Megan Trainor, Madison Beer, Shabuzi, who opened. The Kid Leroy, 21 Pilots, Jimmy Fallon's annoying behind was there. And NCT Dream. I'm trying to remember. I think Jimmy Fallon came out with Madison Beer to perform. I was like, wow, I got that annoying ass man up here. Whatever. That baby rump kisser, as I like to call him. Now, they said there was a lot of celebrities that was there that I didn't even see. But I did see Sarah Michelle Gellar. She was there. Then they said Juan Ho, McKenna Grace, Pow. Who the hell is POW? Chris Olsen, Martha Stewart, Dasha, Alex Warren, TJ Holmes, and that woman he was cheating with. Queer Eye, Cass, I told y'all they was there. They were the basic gays introducing basic ass Katy Perry. Daryl Sabara, who y'all know is from Spy Kids. Gracie Abrams, who performed. James Charles was there. I didn't see that queen. Or maybe I did see him. I didn't recognize him. But then they had Real Housewives of New York City's Erin Lickey. I don't know who that is. I guess she's from the new cast. Real Housewives of New Jersey's Jackie Goldschneider and Jen Fessler. Kelly Ben-Simone and The Bachelor's Ashley Iaconetti. So those were the celebrities that were there. And in regards to the whole Katy Perry thing, it's just like much ado about nothing. It wasn't a big deal. People on social media were trying to throw shade. There were some people that were saying, not the fact that there were no people that bought tickets to Jingle Ball needs to be studied. I'm like, really? Because if Jingle Ball wasn't really seating the people the way they need to be seated, if there was plenty of seats available, we wouldn't have had guest services looking crazy. A lot of people wouldn't have had to come to guest services trying to get seated because they didn't like the tickets had them stationed. So they was all trying to come in with all kinds of, well, I can't tell you how many people I seen that was at Jingle Ball with crutches talking about that they, wanted to be accommodated, or we could try to accommodate them because of whatever situation that was going on. So if it was so many seats available, we would have had an easy night, not having to try to move everybody around to different spots all over the arena. So it was packed. It was sold out. There was a lot of people there. I was in the middle of it, so I saw it, and I'm not going to come up on here and lie to y'all. So I say, well, this is, what do y'all think of this story in regards to Katy Perry addressing the crowd, where she was like basically saying what she said, but of course I was telling you that was because she was transitioning in between songs to go into Hot and Cold, which was going to be the next song she went into when she said the thing about it was getting late and all that other stuff. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. I was like, let me see if okay, I just had to make sure I closed all my windows. Okay, so let me scroll up to some of these comments. You said, why go to Phoenix when she's going to Mexico City? Yeah, they can cross the border, right? It said Charlie has toured by her seven times. She's been supporting Act 11 times. Wait, she's been a supporting act 11 times, including for Taylor. Well, yeah, so she's never really done. Oh, you said that she's toured by herself, I think is what you meant, 7 times. She hated supporting Taylor because her audience was different. I just didn't understand why you would have a Charlie X here. Maybe Taylor was a fan of Charlie's music, because I don't think Taylor only listens to the type of music that she puts out. Taylor seems like she has a vast knowledge of different styles of music, and she probably thought bringing her on the show bringing her on the tour would help her. But I'm like, that's not the music that she does, though. So it didn't make sense why you would have her there on that tour. She doesn't. That's not the genre of music. Or you said not sure about if it was the arena tour or not, but I'm sure the Charlie and Crash tour were. Okay. Are you saying your friend Jeff is saying, at in the LA one? Because I know they do one in LA and they do one in New York. I wonder if they have the same people. Are they going to have the same performers? I wouldn't think they would, because if it's going to air on Hulu and if it's gonna air on ABC and Hulu, why would you do the same show? And why would people want to go to see the same show? McKenna Gray seems to be an upcoming artist in the same vein as Gracie Abrams, which doesn't excite. No, I didn't get, when I saw Gracie Abrams perform, and then all these kids were just like getting overly excited and shouting the lyrics, and Drew Barrymore came out and introduced her and was talking about that, how she's a girl for all ages, and how she her and her kids her daughters, they love her music. I'm like, yeah, because that's J.J. Abrams' daughter, which I had no idea that her father was a famous filmmaker. I didn't know that that was his kid that's now trying to pursue a career in music. Of course, her being a Nepo baby, she gets that push. So watching all of that and stuff, I'm just like, okay. But then I hear the music and I'm like, oh, this is mid, but If you like it, I love it. I'm not a fan. So I definitely get it. It was like, no, I wasn't feeling that music. They probably left because they had to no, she opened with Woman's World. That was the issue. And they was all looking like, I heard crickets when she came out with that. So she actually opens her set with Woman's World. And even performed the Christmas song. I was like, girl, why would you choose this? And then you had people that was in the comments saying that it did look like, I forgot who said it. Probably was Onyx or somebody. Said that it looked like, what the hell was that? Beyonce's Renaissance, the stage. The first time I went to Jingle Ball was in 2002. Alicia Keys was a headliner in the Black Eyed Peas. Now, how was them vocals for Alicia? Was she struggling? Because, she likes to push them vocals to places where they just never are able to go. So I don't never understand why she even tries with them struggle vocals. My friend went and said it was packed. Oh, the one the one that was the recently one out. Yeah, it was packed. So what are they talking about? I can't tell you how many people was trying to push their way into the section that I was in. I was like, I ain't got no more. I even had a manager come over to me and was like, I have somebody who, it's some stuff they were trying to say if I had. I said, look, I've had so many people. I've had two other managers came over and brought people into my set. I was like, I have no more space. So it was packed. It was so many people. There was no space for any more people to come in and us to usher them in. I was like, I feel bad. I'm sorry or whatever. And I understand people up in here complaining, whining, getting all upset, which is what you have to deal with when you work in the guest service field. You're going to deal with people who aren't always going to be happy. And we always try to find the yes. However, it was just when it's so many people and it's like, now we're going to have to put you in a place where it's like your view's being blocked. And there's no way, because I remember I had that happen one time. It was a John Summit show, I believe. And I think somebody vomited in their seat or whatever. And we tried to move these girls to a different spot. And the girls was complaining over where we put them. Well, now I can't see it. I'm like, it's a DJ set. What are you looking at? You want to look at John Summit spinning on the ones and twos? Like, what is it that you're expecting to see at a DJ set going down in an arena? What are you looking for? Meanwhile, and then I had these girls on the side of me on the left who was dancing, having a good time, living their best life. And I got these girls on the right, bitch, in the moment. And so the girl on the left was like, what was that all about? And I said, and I was telling her what happened. I said, and now I'm looking at you and your friend, and y'all sit up here dancing, having a good time, living your best life, like not a care in the world. And they over here complaining because they can't see. And I realize what that is because you get certain people who are there for the music and having a good time. And then you get people that just want to go somewhere, take their stupid little selfies so they could be like, I was here at this event at this time. But was you in the moment? Was you enjoying it? Were you enjoying what you were being a part of? Or were you just being like, oh my God, let me get myself here. Let me get myself here so I can look fabulous and I can post it on my Instagram and get like 3 people to like it. And that's that. It's like, girl, bye. So it was that. But yes, as you say, like your friend was correct. It was packed. My friend is seeing it in Miami. Oh, okay. Both of them are heavily inspired by Taylor, but neither of them have writing chops or catchy production that she does. Well, yeah, you can see like a lot of these kids are trying to copy and be like I think maybe, with Miss Abrams, it felt like she was trying to give me folklore with her music, but I was like, I'm not here for it. But they know they could pander towards that little girl Taylor Swift. They're going for the same crowd that Taylor Swift has had on lock for a long time. But it's going to come a point in time where Taylor Swift is getting older. She's what, 35? So, or 36. How old is she? 35? I think she just turned 35. It was on Friday, right? Or Saturday. So you're in your mid-30s now, sis. So now it's getting to a point where you're going to have to mature the music. You're going to start losing some of those kids as your demo. When I went in 2002, she was promoting her first album. Okay, so the vocals was actually there because she wasn't straining them as much. Okay, so anyway, let's move on and let's talk about Madonna, who, yesterday I did have to windmill on her a little bit over that, situation regarding the Pope and that AI video and all that other stuff, which was a hot ass mess. But look, Ms. Mama's confirmed on her Instagram a couple of hours ago this morning, the Queen of Pop is back and ready to reclaim her throne. after the disaster that was Madam X. And so back in September, Madonna posted on Instagram, a carousel showing her in the studio with Stuart Price. Now, I think it was around September 30th when she pulled that up, and I actually have that open because I was like, this is gonna be a receipt heavy show today. So yeah, there she is in the studio. She's in the stew with Stu. So and put London Calling back in the stew with Stuart Price. Go Chelsea. And oh yeah, I see my post. It said we need a new genre breaking dance pop record from the Queen. And then you have Bravo Andy up in here. We have the MLVC podcast. That's the Madonna Louise Veronica Ciccone podcast. Hey Stefan. It said, oh, I hope this is for new music. And it's funny because Stefan just dropped his season finale. Chad, you're gonna have to break that because this is news, and I know you're gonna get the Madonna fans, and you got to come out with a video. So get to it. Bravo Andy's in the comments about this is great news. And you had a lot of people who would say, yeah, you're making new music. Can't wait to buy the new album and listen to your next era. Go Madonna, go. Another person said, hopefully they put together the magic that Confessions was. Amazing dance music, which is desperately missing today. And yeah, we needed dance music that's got a little substance because all this chain smokers type of music, I'm like, this frat boy EDM, I can't. I need the homosexualness or no shame. I'm gonna just say it. I need the faggotry of dance music to come back into the fold. I need the essence of like what Black queer people brought to dance music and house music. I need Mother to get in the studio and start cooking up something delicious for us to snack on. No, not even snack on, because I don't want a snack. I don't want an appetizer. I want the entree. I want the main course. I want a gobble, 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 bitch. That's what I want. So yeah, there was this. And then I didn't even get to the actual official announcement because I got a little too excited. So, this was the original picture. And I think not only were people saying that, okay, I hope this is new music, but some people thought that they were working on, like, I guess, audio for the celebration tour. And I'm like, there's nothing in this studio that would require, like, she's having to watch a video to do ADR pickups or whatever the case is. Like, there's nothing there that matches that or fills that narrative. So yeah, so now today, as I stated, she went to her Instagram and made the official announcement that she is working on M15. And here's the thing, I had to mute it because she's playing that Dirty Cash, I want you, Dirty Cash, I need you, oh, money talks. Money talks. I was like, we're not gonna play that up on here and I get demonetized. So I just sang it. Well, I said we're not gonna play it, but look, you can't fault me for singing it, bitch. So yeah, so she went and posted that with the following caption and said, hopefully oh no, I'm on the wrong thing. Let me close that. Working on new music with Stuart Price these past few months has been medicine for my soul. Songwriting and making music is the one area where I don't need to ask anyone for their permission. But that guy, Osiri, damn, he look old. You seen that hair? Oh, she got her man up in the studio. Don't not tell me you putting him on the record. And there goes one of the kids. Who's that? Oh yeah, there's Esther and the other one. And it says songwriting, making music is the one area where I don't need to ask anyone for their permission. I'm so excited to share it with you. Who wants to hear new music in 2025? Me. I do. I want to hear new music from the Queen, Madonna. That's what we want as a fan. So to me, let's go back to that caption though. She says songwriting and making music is the one area where I don't need to ask anyone for permission. It sounds like she's making a little dig at the film industry because remember, it wasn't that long ago, or once upon a time, not long ago, a song she actually did on her little TikTok. Remember they said, she was having trouble getting this Madonna biopic off the ground because I guess the studio, I'm assuming is Universal, It's about they don't want to give her the budget that she wants to do. So she was asking, what should she do? Should she do it as a TV series or a movie? I understand you want the Oscar. I understand you want, you want to get in that whole bag, but if the industry is going to try to play in your face and you want to do things your way, then do it as a series. I feel like 4 decades of what you've given us is not going to be able to fit all in a 2.5-hour movie. Madonna's not like any other artist that we've seen in our lifetime. You can't compare, she's up there in the holy trinity of her, Michael, and Prince. But her story is not like something you could judge down into a 2.5-hour movie. We need episodes to really dive into the essence of who she is, her childhood, and all the other things that's going on. Now, in regards to music, I wonder what it's going to sound like. Now, I don't want a Confessions on a Dance Floor Part 2. That is not something I want. I don't think that's something we as fans need right now. And because been there, done that, wore the t-shirt. But if there's a way that she can reinvent the dance music wheel and really take us in a direction that, and on a journey that we have yet to experience, because we've been hearing all this basic ass dance music and y'all just be out here settling. Y'all want to call, some of you want to be out here calling what Katy Perry's doing revolutionary. But like I said many a time, she about as deep as a pond. So I don't feel like that's what we're getting from her. I loved what Beyonce did with the Renaissance era on the different elements of dance that she brought into that and kind of made it her own thing. And that album still stands out. And Cowboy Carter ain't my thing because I'm not really into the country, but I love what she did with the dance music genre. And hopefully Madonna was inspired by that and will kind of do her own thing, because she definitely ate with Confessions. But I know a lot of people are going to be out here, yeah, let's give us a Confessions Part 2. No, I don't want a sequel. Let her do her own thing. So, while I understand what you were trying to accomplish with Madam X artistically and sonically, no shade, but it wasn't my favorite era from her. I've told y'all this many times on the show, and don't even get me started on that disaster that was the tour. Now, she has managed, to redeem herself with the Celebration tour, which I actually got to go to, and I had a great time when I went. Actually, when I'm getting sick afterwards. And, fans have been clamoring for M to get back in the stew with Stu to give us another dance record. So hopefully that's the direction she's going into. Now, personally speaking, I don't want another retread of Confessions, which I have reiterated many times, but I have to keep driving that in, so y'all know. But I do think that she can give us another dance album, but, push the genre in another direction rather than follow what everyone else is doing sonically. So now, let's see what the people were saying in regards of the comments, because I read through some of the old ones. But now that we know it's confirmed, MLVC wrote, finally enough love. But must you have to use a pun? Or they said, guess you guys have to go. Yeah, let's see, somebody said what I said. They said, guess you guys got to go live again. This is big. Because, yeah, they did their season finale of sorts. And now they have to do another video, because now she revealed that she's releasing a new album. And then there were some people in the comments like, yeah, your wish seems like it will come true. And then another person said, MLVC podcast, yes, we need to discuss. So yeah, the fans want MLVC podcast because they're like the big Madonna fandom podcast. And then they can go into a deep dive and have a conversation about it. And, I have mine on here because as a fan, I do my own thing here too. So then we have another person, Disco Bambino, says explosive combo. We cannot wait. Another person said Madonna can release an album right now and it will be #1 by the end of this week. And another person said, well, I said Roro 515. Is that Rosie O'Donnell? No, that's not her. Another person said, this is the Christmas present I wanted. Don't try to be trendy. Just follow your instincts. That's always when you create your best work. I can't wait to hear new music. And I totally agree with that, because that has been the overall complaint that a lot of us hardcore Madonna fans have had over the years. Don't follow the trends, set the trends. The reason why Madonna was always so successful is because she set the trends. She always had her ears to the underground because she is a club kid, where she had her ears to the underground and was able to usher a lot of that into the mainstream. And so follow your gut. Don't try to follow what's trendy, because what's trendy right now, 5 minutes later is out of style. And if you want to do the whole pushing the vulgarity and stuff, say that for the stage. And stop coming out with the AIs of you having the Pope grabbing your boobs. And so somebody said, finally something to look forward to in 2025. Another person said, this is what the world needs. Another person said, back together in the studio, a dream come true. Best news ever. Another person said, yes, I'm so excited. Get it, queen. So it's a lot of comments up in here where the people are excited. And as am I. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? Are you guys excited for a new Madonna record? And what do you think sonically it's going to sound like once the album is released? I'm sure we'll hear a lot more as it develops in the coming months. But if she said that she's in the studio, I'm wondering if she and Stuart are done with the record, and now she feels confident enough to say that, you know what, we've got a pretty much we've been in the studio for a couple of months working on new music. We have enough material where we could start formulating the record and figuring out what songs are going to make it and what songs aren't going to make it. And how soon do you think we're going to get this Madonna record? Do you think we're going to get it in March? Are we going to get it in the summer? Are we going to get it in the third quarter of 2025? You know what would have been perfect, Sabo, before we get up off this? It would have been really cool if she was announced as she was going to perform at Coachella. But Lady Gaga is doing it. So unfortunately, that's not going to happen. But I'm sure she'll probably announce something even cooler that she could. Oh, you know what? Maybe she could do Pride in 2025. And she could perform the new music there. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. And of course, as I expected, we have a lot of comments. So let's go up to them. You said check your inbox. Madonna news and Polestar. I heard Mariah about to cancel the rest of the trip. Yeah, I've heard the stories about Mariah about to cancel the tour. She's already canceled a couple of dates. Thank God she didn't decide to do I'm like, why I got so many messages? Well, it's probably my job up in here saying like they're trying to schedule people, but I'm like, this is not the time to. I'll check all that later. But wait, so he said check the inbox. Wait, I'm not even going in Rebel Hearts because y'all got way too many stuff up in there. Oh yeah, I already posted the thing about Madonna. So wait, is there another one? Oh, you talking about Candace Owens named Anti-Semite of the Year by Stop Anti-Semitism. Is that what you're talking about? Because I was like, I see something else. Oh wait, All Hail the Queen. So yeah, this says that Madonna's historic celebration tour smashes records with all-time grandest grand finale. And what does it say? So it says 2024 top 10 worldwide tours. Number 10, Madonna. The gross is $178,816,423.50, even down to the damn cent. Average ticket price was $208.85. Average ticket sold per show 13,378. Total tickets 856,247. Average gross 2,794,007. So it says Madonna's celebration tour was a career milestone, unlike anything the live industry has ever before seen. A career retrospective, the run celebrated her 40th year in the business with Madge's classic catalog of mega hits with wildly creative production, choreography, and costuming. Members of her family, special guests, Bob the Drag Queen, and the greatest grand finale in the history of live. It's impressive $178.8 million gross over the course of Polestar's 2024 chart year, sold 856,247 tickets with an average gross of $2.79 million per show, making it one of Polestar's top 10 tours of 2024. All that, however, is just a small part of what made the tour so profoundly and deeply meaningful. Now, June 24, 2023, 3 weeks after the celebration tour was set to kick off on July 15th in Vancouver, Madonna was admitted to the ICU with a life-threatening illness. The 23 North American arena dates would be postponed or canceled, including 2 Madison Square Garden dates and nights at Chicago United Center and LA's Crypto.com Arena. The tour instead kicked off in Europe in mid-October 2023. When it got to Brooklyn Barclays Center in December, she candidly told the audience that she had woke up in the ICU and had been in an induced coma for 48 hours. Now, for me, every day with Madonna, and it is a blessing, her longtime manager, Guy Osiri, told Polestar a day before the tour's grand finale on May 3rd in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. The tour is called the Celebration Tour, so we're celebrating her career, but we're also celebrating her life. It's perfect that it aligned already with the celebrating her 40 years, and then something like this happens. It isn't like you had to shift anything. It's just added extra meaning. It didn't change the run of the show necessarily. It just brought more emotion to it. Everything is already a blessing, but it's also an even more meaningful blessing after what she endured and came back from. So congratulations, Madonna. Where they basically said the celebration tour in total will gross an astronomical $227.2 million and sell 1.1 million tickets over the course of 80 shows between October 14, 2023 and May 4th, 2024, according to Polestar box office reports. So the celebration tour crowned Polestar's mid-year worldwide top 100 tours daily. So it was a good show. I thoroughly enjoyed the tour, and it is well deserved on Madonna's part because she is one of the hardest working people in pop music. And look, if they're not going to give her what she needs to do in regards of the biopic, then focus on what you do best, and that's make music, continue to push the envelope as an artist, and give the gays what we want. Well, she never thinks about giving the gays what we want, but apparently she is this time. She did with the celebration tour because that was a good tour with the way they did with that. But also, yeah, I'm just looking forward to seeing what she's got coming up in regards to the music. So you're saying, what about the tour? Oh yeah, when is she dropping that? Because we got to know what's going on with that. Like you talking about the music, but what's going on with the celebration tour? The fans want the tour. They want to be able to own it. No shade to her or the Madonna stands in here, but if the new music sounds like the Frozen remix or Madam X, it's a child. I don't think it will be. First of all, I don't think Stuart Price would even be like, ma'am, like stop. What are you doing? Because Madam X was not a favorite era of mine. I got the artistic what she was doing behind that and the creativity. And yeah, it was definitely an artistic creative album on her part. But I just didn't particularly, that's not an album that I keep on repeat. I guess maybe I don't even know if the hardest of hardcore Madonna fans even like that album. But and yeah, the sick kick stuff that she was doing, I was like, okay, girl, whatever. I think we were just so happy to get something from her that we just accepted whatever she was giving us. But the reality is we wasn't really feeling that stuff. I wasn't really feeling the Takesha stuff she was doing. I wasn't really feeling all the different collabs that she was doing. I was like, ma'am, I need you to get back to basics. I need you to get back to making music. And I hope and pray that you brought it up because that was another pet peeve that I was having with her. No more collabs. I don't need you collaborate with no more rappers. I don't need you no more with R&B singers. Like if you want to do like a little Michelle Digga cello type of something, tell me what you want. Tell me what you need. If you want to have a little something like that where they do a little yang yang on the song, then I'm here for it. But not a whole collabo. I don't want a Maluma born ass up on no music. I don't need no Takesha and you with your faux lesbian stuff. Like, no, I need us to get back to what you do, which is delivering impeccable, memorable pop music. They said she did Madam X with Mere Ways. She's doing this album with Stuart, who she did Confessions with. But yeah, it's not gonna be, it's more. Stuart is more. He's a dance producer. They said people's main complaint with Madam X was the overuse of vocoders and auto tune. It was kind of like she was kind of lazy with the singing. The auto tune was always my biggest complaint with her event music. I couldn't put myself through it. Oh, you're talking about her recent music. I think Madonna also has to understand best to wait for her to leave this earth. So I think that's why the reissue took a back seat because the film is delayed So I think she understood someone will. I'm waiting with bated breath. Tell her story respectfully when she goes away, but she will make her look. But she will make her look like a saint when we know she did her brother and father wrong. Yeah, because we don't want no Disney-fied version of Madonna's life story. You say, yeah, it was too much. I only like the few songs on Madam X. Yeah, there was some cute songs on there, but it's like it's not stuff I listen to. It's not an album I listen to on repeat. I would listen to MDNA before I listen to before I listen to Madam X. I have a feeling she. I have a feeling. I have a feeling she'll have a song inspired by Christopher because they were close. That has some issues, but work things. Yeah, they did work things out, and she ended up taking care of him because he was living in her house in L.A. while he was undergoing a lot of the care that he was going through. I say, her Ray of Light era will probably always be my personal favorite. Yeah, because I like the whole spiritual aspect behind it. Madonna's biggest problem, she second guessed herself, especially during the Rebel Heart leaks. And no politics is a very different culture. You can't slam Republicans anymore and think they're cool. Yeah, because if she comes about, I don't understand why people voted for Donald Trump. I'm like, girl, do you not understand the country you live in, or are you living in a bubble? It's like, yeah, let it go. Focus on performing and all this stuff, all the old rebel politics, political stuff. People don't want to go to the concerts for that no more. So yeah, while it was cute back in the day, I guess, with George W. Bush, and even then she got dragged for doing that. It's like it's a different time. I hope we don't get a lot of exactly no rappers. Okay, you said Madam X was heavily revolved around the Latin music trend, which is why the album seems dated and tired. Even Hard Candy, MDNA, and Rebel Heart is a bit. Well, I've been saying that. Hard Candy, she jumped on the Timberland bandwagon a little too late. Although I will say that if I had to say between Timbaland and Pharrell, Pharrell's music still holds up versus Timbaland's dated beats. I saw something or another. He did like a 2.5 hour YouTube stream where he was talking about he wants to hear your music. I'm like, chill. Why does ain't nobody really checking for Timbaland? The only one checking for him is Justin Timberlake. And that's because Justin Timberlake don't know anybody else to go work with. And then Justin Timberlake music flop. I think he Janet Jackson. He want to stick to the same rivers and lakes instead of branching out and doing something different. But then again, Justin Timberlake's whole career has been, biting off Michael Jackson. But you give him like mayonnaise American version of Michael. But yeah, well, she was doing like the music from, Portugal, like Fado music and that whole vibe of like what Nelly Furtado was doing when she first came in. Like she would do like the Portuguese Fado music, which is like folk music, well, Latin folk music. So she was doing a lot. She was trying to incorporate a lot of that into her sound, and then of course the electronic elements and stuff. It was chaotic. But some of the songs worked, some of the songs didn't, and then the tour was a mess, and she was constantly canceling the tour, and it was child, the Madam X era was a mess. And he was like, what did the audience have? But I do agree with you saying in regards of like Hard Candy. Hard Candy was dated because, except like I said, Pharrell's music stands out way more than what she did with Timbaland. MDNA definitely sounds like dated EDM. And Rebel Heart, it was initially she was working with Avicii, and then the leaks came out, and then she went in and started working with another producer. They started changing things up, and then I would hear the Avicii demos because I remember I had a bunch of the Avicii demos. They ended up leaking on SoundCloud, and I knew a way that I could rip the SoundCloud leaks. So that's what I was doing. I was ripping them and I was putting them on my iPod and stuff back in the day. And I was liking the Avicii mixes. And then she was putting out these different versions. I'm like, I don't like this. So that was the best. And then she was releasing like 3 different versions of Rebel Heart. It was all over the place. It was supposed to be like 25 songs, and then it was a 13 track, one, and it was like one, I think it was like 15 or to 20. It was all over the place. But I could definitely see that we'll get the album by the summer. She could release the first single in like March or April. You said I'm hoping for summer because it began in the fall, but I think she's taking her time, and don't be afraid to listen to us fans and share tracks with us. We know you better than quiet as is kept. We do know her better than her. She trying to act like we don't, but I'm like, sis, we do. Magical Mermaids in the building. Said, what's the tea? I mean, yeah, you did miss a lot. Miss a, in the words of Wendy Williams, you miss a moment, you miss a lot. We was talking about a lot. So we talked about, Madonna, that was the last topic. We talked Ariana Grande, Katy Perry, James Gunn, 28 years later. Well, Superman, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, 28 years later. We talked about a lot of topics. So where am I? Oh, Cher 78 is still coming out with one more album. Haha, LOL, Madonna. Can you go till 78? Well, we'll see. Because Madonna's 66. So I'm sure she probably can. But let's see if she, if she paces herself, she can. Dolly is 78 and just came out with an album. Yeah, that was like a lot of these artists are, be coming out with stuff. We need Madonna films in 3 acts. That's what I said. We need them it's got to be a long stretch. You can't have Madonna out here with just a 2.5-hour movie. That just doesn't work. I feel Madonna is finally inspired to make music. And, it takes a while to find your groove because it's like, as an artist, there are days where it's just like, I don't have any inspiration. Then there's days like, oh, I'm feeling that creative spirit. So I need to go write some stuff down. So I totally get it. William Orbit's birthday was yesterday. He's 68. Oh, he's like 2 years older than Madonna. Midways is very political. That's why Madonna replaced him on Confessions, because her documentary had on political statements. Yeah, and I guess with him being French, that actually, works. Madonna works better alone. Most veterans do. Yeah, she does. And I was like, with her, and she can have like one producer or maybe stretch it to 2. That works. Don't have too many cooks. Like when I be looking on some people's the writers and the amount of producers, I'm like, why you got like 7 damn producers on this record? And then it's all over the damn place. I'm just like, just get one person or 2 people. And the one thing I will say about Stuart that he's really good at like bringing everything together. So if you're working with a lot of different people, he could find a way to maneuver and bring everything in. He was very good, and that's why I'm glad that Kylie worked with him on Aphrodite, because that album was all over the place at one point. But he was able to come in and stitch everything together, and that's why that's like one of my top Kylie Minogue albums. I'm a hardcore Madonna fan, and Madam X was a misfire. He said that was even the fans was like, no ma'am. Hard Candy had same too. So yeah, as I said, I like more of the Pharrell stuff, the Pharrell produced stuff, than what Timbaland did. I mean, Miles Away was cute too, but that's a Timbaland one. But I just felt like his production overpowered her. What happened in Wisconsin? Madam X was a different album, but Maluma came in and changed the album. But Maluma needed no, I'm not going there. Madonna had an affinity towards Latin culture. Well, she's always had a love for Latin music and the culture, and is always incorporated into her music. Justin is more like the white Usher. He wishes he was Usher. She should do a song with Kylie and maybe someone like Charlie or Sabrina. I would definitely love to see it. Look, the fans been wanting her with Kylie for the longest. And you want to know something? What if they actually did work on something and it's a surprise? I hope they did manage to work out something and they talked about it like right after Kylie came out on stage and performed, during Madonna's tour. So I hope that they do have something where they work it out in that way. But I would rather Madonna work with Charlie than Sabrina. I don't get like even though Sabrina, I believe, has covered Madonna songs in the past, but no, I would rather see her do something with Charlie. That would be cool. If Madonna was to have I was going to say if she kind of adapted the hyperpop sound, but she did. When she did Bitch, I'm Madonna, that's kind of hyperpop. So Madonna's already dabbled in hyperpop. She grew up in New York where, and I'm glad she ain't doing nothing with Diplo again, where Latin culture was everywhere. That's why, look, and she's had many a Puerto Rican boyfriend. So yeah, I mean, Josh Popper, look at him. And Jelly Bean Benitez, she's been around a lot of that culture, especially coming up in New York when it was like freestyle and all that, and all of that was coming up at the time. That's why it felt authentic. Say with Vogue, people just don't understand. No, they don't. They do not understand New York culture at the time, and still. And said she should do a song with Kylie, especially after performing together. Absolutely. There was over 50 demos for the Rebel Heart track. Yeah, that's a lot. I think a solo album is more important first. The Kylie track can wait. Or maybe it could be a B-side or something. I don't know. Or like a surprise little, she could throw something out there like a maxi single and just include it on there. Cher was supposed to retire in her 50s, and I knew that wasn't going to happen. Well, I think artists should never retire. The only people that retire are people who have jobs. When you have a career, you should not be told to retire. So I hate when people say that. Oh, she should retire. You need to retire. I was like, people with regular jobs, 9 to 5s, they retire. My father just retired the day after Thanksgiving of this year. And that's why I'm like, that'll be interesting to see how he navigates through all of that. But if you have a career, you don't retire from that because you can say, and this is why I don't never understand why artists always like, oh, I'm retiring from music, I'm retiring from acting, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, but then a decade later, your ass is back. I'm like, so why say you retiring? Just say you're taking a break. Or say what the rest of these artists out here be saying, we go on an indefinite hiatus. Say that. That's what Fifth Harmony and all of them are saying. And now they ain't coming out with no new out. And Blackpink and all of them be out here saying, oh, they taking a hiatus. That means they broke up. Release the first single. That actually would be funny. I'm gonna release my new single the day LG7 come out. And they be like, here she goes, starting her mess. It's a cute little minor rivalry. Not too much on Janet. She may not genre hop, but the albums have always been distinct from one another. Yeah, I'll give her that. Madonna probably started writing songs on the tour. Well, yeah, that usually happens. That you get inspired and you're, writing stuff and coming up with ideas. And then you resort back to the book when you get in the studio. Well, look at Beyonce having 16 writers for some songs. And, that's because she be using samples and you got to pay all of them on top of the writers that you have that worked on the regular song. That takes the intimacy away from a song when so many people are working on one thing. So, yeah, it's like you have your little writing team and you throw a little something up in there so you get your credit. But then also, if you use the samples, you have to credit them as well and pay them. I get why Torture was criticized, but the Taylor kept it small. Jack Adnoff and Aaron Dessner. So I like that she has known small team. Well, yeah, you should. I'm like, some people know what works best for them. It's like you keep a team small, but look, the people want her to stop working with Jack. But if there's something there. He said Billy works with Phineas each album and has proven a good team. Well, yeah, that's her brother. And who knows you better than family, right? He said Sophie produced Bitch on Madonna. Yes, she did. May she rest in peace. I actually like Sophie's album. The new one that just came out a couple of months ago. Pop duet with Madonna and Janet. Child, we know that ain't happening. Probably was there a school shooting. Yes, there was. I believe there was I heard there was a pow-powing that happened earlier. Nobody, of course, is talking about it. So here we go. The Christians are like, oh, they're trying to wage war on us. Meanwhile, over the years, y'all been trying to indoctrinate and shove y'all damn religion down our throat. But thoughts and prayers for those who was, papping out, since y'all think that's going to solve the problem of pow-pows going on in the U.S. Thoughts and prayers. Madonna wouldn't have been perfect on the Discipline album. Well, you say would have been perfect on the Discipline album. This is me being shady, but Discipline is better than Madda's last 4 albums combined. Discipline has some songs on it. Light Skin, Dark Skin, My Age of Persuasion. I do like that song. Let's, come on, feedback. But yeah, Discipline was a good record. I'll give her that. But anyway, okay. Child, let's move on and let's talk about Adolph Schulz, who decided to jump in on a conversation that had nothing to do with him. I was thinking about playing out this clip of him on the Brilliant Idiots podcast that he does with Charlemagne. It's 9 minutes, but I was like, I ain't gonna do that to you. I'm not gonna torture y'all because one of the things that irritates me about Andrew is that he don't freaking listen. He thinks he's right. He thinks by being loud that makes him correct, and I vehemently disagree with that situation. It's like, no, just because you loud does not make you right. Because there'll be a lot of people that do that. Big girls do it. Nene Leakes does it, and I'm like, So Andrew Schulz has sparked controversy after reigniting tensions with K-Dot, taking another jab at likening the competent rapper to hip-hop's Taylor Swift. Now, on December 14th episode of the Brilliant Idiots podcast with Charlemagne flip-flopping ass the God, Goddess, Schulz explained, Kendrick really is the Taylor Swift of hip hop. No matter what he does, he's still the victim. You know how Taylor Swift is always the victim. She's the biggest in music in history, yet she's a victim to the label. She's a victim to Scooter. She's a victim to her boyfriends, yet she is still the biggest in the world. Somehow Kendrick is the victim here. Now the comment came, child, first of all, you sound stupid saying that. So this comment, just to remind y'all, comes after the media personality responded to Lamar's whacked out murals saying, Kendrick's people and the gang affiliate, you know, everybody, his security, they will unalive me. They will destroy me. They'll find me in the street. They'll effing cut me up. They'll shoot. They'll do whatever. I'm not a tough guy, but just Kendrick, I would make love to him and there's nothing he could do about it. Just Kendrick Lamar, I would make love to him and the only thing that he could do is decide if it's consensual or not. So basically you were sitting here talking about you was going all word Kendrick, which some people look at, if you talking about a white man doing that to a black man, that is the overall definition of buck breaking, which was something that did happen a lot to black men when they were slaves brought over to the U.S. There were men that would literally break them down, you know, castrations and, you know, sexual assaults because you want to break them down and let them know that, you know what, I could do whatever I want to you. There's nothing you could do about it. I mean, even take away your manhood. And when you say that, he don't understand that. Now, this all stemmed from because Kendrick said in his song, white men talking about black women can't be up in here talking about black women as Lord. That was, I know I probably, I basically butchered what he said, but he said that he don't want white men around here talking about black women. But of course, Adolf Schulz decided to get up in the situation and assert himself in the conversation and decided to say all these crazy things because he got all upset. Now, just because Charlemagne gave you a pass into the cookout and you amongst black folk don't mean that there's certain things you got to realize that you need to stay out of grown folk business and stick to the rivers and lakes that you used to. And just because you got a little pass don't necessarily mean you got all access pass. And I think a lot of you white people seem to forget that because he was in his feelings about it. I think Gary Owen got in his feelings about that. And this is what happens when y'all just be giving out these goddamn hood passes to white people because they hang out a couple of times with a black person, and y'all thinking that it's okay to just let them come up in here and say and do whatever. And then when they say whatever because they feel like they've gotten a pass and they don't understand boundaries, then y'all want to get up here and get mad. And then he want to sit up in here and stand 10 toes down and don't want to accept that, you know what? Sorry, white folks, but y'all are not, there's certain things that you cannot get up in here and say you can't get away with. But then again, we get into this bag of white people not liking being told what they can and cannot say, especially a black person telling them what they can and cannot say. And because you thinking that a Charlemagne is going to check you, but Charlemagne ain't one of us. Charlemagne the flip-flopping ass bitch too. We've seen how he gets when he tries to go up on there and make his little point, but then when somebody combats at him, he backs down. We just saw that recently when he went on The View, when he was going up against all them clucking ass, not understanding of anything to do with politics, them idiots over there. Or I like to call them clucking hens. So he backed off, but he was talking about the Democrats and what they need to do and why they lost the election. It's like, if you're going to say something, stand on it. That's why I don't go to him or any of the likes of him for any kind of politics because they don't really stand on nothing. Y'all go with a wind blow. And I would not be surprised if he end up like that old lisping queen, Van Jones, and all of them, and George Stephanopoulos and all them other ones who are going to sit and bend the knee because they run out here scared because they're afraid of what Trump is going to do to their ass once he get in the office. Because now you got a lot of these media conglomerates who supposed to be liberal media running scared now. The Mikas and her big head ass husband. Then you got Van Jones fake flip-flopping ass and that lisp she got. And all these other morons that's run out here to act like they understand what they talk about. But then guess what? And I don't want to get into this whole thing with MAGA because this is not what this is about, but I will say this in passing, that when the MAGA stuff dries up, because Trump can only run for so long, this is his last term. I know they're trying to find little, sneaky things to do and try to prolong it and grift and do what they got to do to keep the power going, which you can't because there's laws in place that you cannot keep trying to change up things in our politics. But once the whole MAGA thing dies down, don't come running back over here to us. Stay where y'all at. Or you fake ass, flip-flopping ass media conglomerates. Stay over there. We don't want y'all over here. We got our progressives that's out here really fighting the fight. So don't come over here with us. Y'all stay over there where y'all need to be. You know, the Joe Rogans and all of them fake asses that's running around here with all this mess. So I say all this to say the one that I feel like is playing the victim out of all this is Adolf Schulz. Because when I listened to the clip, he was irritating my entire damn root. You know, he got on my root canal nerve. He was irritating my damn spirit because he was coming over the type who thinks that the louder he is, the more correct he feels that he is. And he was dragged by the K-Dot fans because you decided to assert yourself into a conversation that had nothing to do with you, where he basically was talking about white people should not be talking about black women. Now, Andrew being a white male who makes his money doing Kill Tony-esque frat boy toilet humor, clearly doesn't like being told what to do, especially from someone who's a black rapper. So because, you've been given an invite to the cookout by Charlemagne, you feel like you have a right to assert yourself in the conversations pertaining to the black community when you don't. And for you to sit up here and talk about how you want to make love to somebody, which is, like I said, the definition of buck breaking, how you think the fans are going to act or going to react to what you're saying. So if you're going to play in this media commentary sandbox, what you need to do, sir, is A, grow a thick skin. B, ignore the haters because you're going to have people in your comments that's going to have some slick stuff that they're going to say. Don't take it to heart. I know that it stings or people will be feeling sensitive or whatever, but it's always the sensitive ones that want to sit and point fingers and talk about other people who are sensitive. And you can't be out here saying things and expect that you're not going to get the clap back, that you're not going to get people that are going to go in on you and make comments about his daughter, which I know based off of his stand-up act, that he said that his wife had fertility issues and that sort of thing. And then he had his daughter's a miracle and all this other stuff. Like he talked about in his recent stand-up special. I worked his stand-up special, so I'm familiar with the type of comedy that Andrew does. So if you're going to jump in this world and be aware that, depending on the topic, talk about you want to buck break somebody, that fan's going to come for you and everybody you love. You can't, there's no rules to this whole situation. When they go low, I told you I go to the Earth's crust. I'm going all the way to hell. I don't give a damn about your feelings. So the people in the comments were saying something because I caught this off the Twitter. And somebody was like, Andrew Schulz's best friends, Tal and Orrin Alexander, just got arrested by the FBI for S trafficking. We know why he's really bad. Oh, I didn't know about that. Then they said Andrew stopped. Then they said Andrew stopped lying before whacked out murals came out. On that same podcast where y'all were talking about black women, you, sir, was said Kendrick Lamar fans get him. If you didn't want him to address it, shouldn't have left him. Wait, okay. Child, you couldn't proofread this before you posted it. Like, I'm trying to read what you're saying, miss, and you all over the place. It said, if you didn't want him to address it, should have left him out of it. You are the only one playing victim. The other person said, it's not sensitive. It's people trying to see if you really about what you say. They just want to see you try it. That's it. Don't run to us snitching. Go stand on what you said. Don't threaten somebody then hoe up when they check you on it. Another person said, it's crazy CDG can admit they were talking about Andrew but won't admit him and old girl are the coons he was referring to. LOL. So yeah, that was some of the comments. And then somebody else said this guy, and they added Andrew Schulz. That said, sounds so pathetic here. Everybody is getting ish from every side. Canadian goons threatening Kendrick, threats coming to Drake. You get ish too. That's simple. The mediocre comedian we once knew is looking paranoid and now spiraling. Another person said, this dude is an idiot. At Andrew Schulz, like to talk over people and yell to make himself feel like he's in the right. The dude is milking it. He was the one that started by mentioning Kendrick's name when he was disrespecting black women. And then another person said, any man who would willingly go work for a guy who robbed and extorted your dad tells me you're nothing more than a punk bitch. And then they also went and said, ain't nobody from Kendrick's team calling Andrew. Bruh been brushed off, and it will remain that way. And then the last one, they always said, if I say black people don't let white people do XYZ around you. I'm not talking to or about white people. I'm talking to black people. F Drake and Kendrick. The point is, he never said nothing to or about Schulz. He described his actions to Black people. And that's what it was. He was saying that, and Andrew came across as a hit dog, hollering, and decided to assert himself in the conversation that had nothing to do with him. When you decide to assert yourself in something that has nothing to do with you because you felt, when they say, if you feeling froggy, then leave. And then he left. And now, because people are coming at you because you decided to put that energy out in the universe, you try to assert yourself in a conversation that wasn't about you because he didn't mention Andrew Schulz's name in the song. He said white people. He didn't say you. But you decided to assert yourself in it. And if you're going to assert yourself into certain things, then you cannot be surprised by the backlash and the overall, the level of backlash that you're going to get from that situation. So I don't feel no way ties about it. If you're going, look, like I said, if you're going to jump into a situation, if you're going to assert yourself into something that ain't got nothing to do with you, then you got to be ready for the consequences that come your way. You cannot poke the bear and then tell it how angry to get, is why I always say with people. But, a lot of you people in this Trump era, it seems like a lot of y'all want to play this victim card or want to act like the world's out to get you. It's like, well, if you minded the business that pays you, you wouldn't be in the situation you in now. And then it was like, Charlamagne was trying to talk, but then he kept like cutting people off, being loud. And I can't talk with people like that. It's like, learn to listen and listen to learn. If you're not willing to learn nothing, if you're not willing to learn from your behavior or learn and realize that you was wrong in a situation and try to grow and learn from what you're dealing with, then I ain't got time for you. I'm done with the conversation. I'm like, go argue with your mammy at this point. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story regarding Adolph Schulz basically playing the victim and calling Kendrick the Taylor Swift of hip hop? Which I don't see that. I guess well, look, that's a whole nother conversation with Taylor Swift, where it's like everybody coming at her and she's always the victim in the situation. It's like she basically turned her white tears into a $1 billion empire. So, but that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay, so now, Rubber Rose in the building said, I'm now convinced that celebrities retiring is more of a PR move to set up lucrative comeback. Than probably, I wouldn't even be surprised if that you might be correct with that. Also, Madonna said it's okay to get songs not written by you if you connect to it. Exactly, because when she did Popular, she didn't write that song, but it's a popular song. She didn't write that song, and it's like there is nothing wrong with singing a song that you didn't write. The fact of the matter is, you get artists out here that's so damn greedy, or they suffer from imposter syndrome that, and it's like, I don't give a damn. I'll get in the studio and I'll come up with some stuff and we'll write some songs. But also, if I hear a song, I'm like, oh, wait a minute, who wrote that? Who's that? I want that track. Give it to me. And I'll get it up in there and I'll record it. I'm like, ooh, I resonate because I connect with it. It shouldn't always be about, well, if you didn't write it, then you can't connect to it. Because there's songs I be hearing, I'm like, oh damn, I wish I would have sang that song. Oh, I could see myself recording that. Like that's always a situation when it comes to certain songs. And I don't think artists should be afraid to listen to or to take songs that was already written and record them. Why not? Some of Madonna's biggest hits back in the day, she didn't write. She damn sure did. 4 farewell songs. I mean, 4 farewell tours. Say that 10 times fast. Wouldn't Drake be? Funny enough, I was going to say that I was thinking about that earlier when I was coming up with this story, and I was like, everybody knows the real victim here is Drake. But you beat me to it, and I forgot. Adolph Schulz has had no Netflix special. It's coming out that he was the biggest comedy scam of all time. He sold the special for a month and uploaded it on YouTube, which upset people. Oh, I didn't even know that. But when I saw his comedy special, he definitely has like the Joe Rogan fan base types that go up in there, like the white frat boy types. They're the ones that go to see the same what you would see at a Kill Tony show. You would see at a Adolph Schulz show. So I don't even know who he is. Never heard of him. Yeah, he's been around for a while. He's like a comedian, but he also does a show with Charlamagne, like a really big podcast. He also does another podcast too, with like a bunch of brown folk and thinks that because he hangs out with a different variety of brown people that it gives him permission to say, because he didn't even say the stuff he said about Kendrick with Charlamagne. He said on a whole nother podcast. Okay, now speaking of, sure, let's get into this fool. We're going to go from one moron to a damn another. That's why this dumbass bitch. So we're going to talk about Amber, tight-ass Rose, who basically, speaking of victims, because we were just talking about, what Andrew Adolph Schulz said about Kendrick Lamar playing the victim. Now we got Amber Rose saying that the reason why Drake is getting, hate is because he's biracial. Which I had to side eye that foolishness. So now, she recently appeared on the Pillow Talk with Ryan podcast, where she confidently took a stance on the Drake and K-Dot rap beef, saying the following. Now, I do have the clip, and I did find it overall interesting that she's talking about victim and biracial stuff, but she's talking to a bunch of white people about it, which I'm not surprised that that's where she would go to try to make her argument. Well, we have the clip. Let's play it, and then we'll talk.
In Toronto, Kendrick or Drake?
Drake. People want to act like Drake is not the voice of our generation. You can't take away everything that Drake has done for us as far as memories and parties. They build you up to throw you away, and I think it's complete bull. So I'm going with Drake.
But what did he do to piss everyone off at the same time?
He's biracial. Sometimes when they don't like you, they'll just be like, you're acting white. You're acting light skinned. You're not like us. I've been through that my whole life. So I will always have Drake's back for that reason alone.
Speaking of Toronto, Kendrick.
She sounds so goddamn dumb with all of that. But you know what? The people in the comments, they had me cackling. One person said, this is what happens when you give slow people a platform. Another person said, voice of our generation, SMH. That's why I was like, first of all, Drake is not the voice of no damn generation. Now, here's the thing. I look at Drake, and I'm not going to take away all what he's done. He has had bops upon bops upon bops. But he's a bona fide pop star who raps. That's basically, in my opinion, who Drake is. And yeah, I'm not going to take away from the creativity and the success that man has had. But if I was to talk about, you talk about somebody who had an impact on the culture, when we talk about people talk about Kendrick Lamar is boring, but it's because he makes conscious rap music. Like a J. Cole, which I wish I was working that event that's happening tonight, but I'm not. I was going to think about going in and doing that show, but I was just like, I'll sit here and give y'all a show instead. So, we have our conscious rappers that I absolutely love, but the people it's like, girl, you don't know what the hell you talking about. So somebody said, tell her she don't speak for us all. Another person said, not like us is the modern day Gangnam style. First of all, your mother. And number two, it's not your modern day Gangnam style, because that's basically trying to take away the creativity of who and what. Who the hell's Ryan Poundall? I ain't never heard of you, but you got a blue damn check mark. But the funny part was somebody said Drake is not the voice of Toronto, much less a generation. Now that's funny. But then somebody also said this. They said that she is absolutely correct. This whole biracial thing runs deep in the Black community, and I didn't even know it until this year. If you are not fully Black, sometimes you just a target for Black people. If they don't like who you are as a person, it's sad, but that is just what it is. But once Drake put in that defamation lawsuit, that's when he lost credibility. The UMG lawsuit is accurate, but the second one, you just have to take that one to the chin as a man, blah, blah, blah. So it's okay, child, you lost me. And then I was going on the neighborhood talk. There's my friend DJ said, she's still doing their work. Good MAGA girl. Why not use race as an excuse to reinforce the divide? Another person said, if shut up was a person button, then it's like someone else said, it's not about being biracial. J. Cole is biracial and he's considered top 5. So yeah, it's not about biracial. I just think that being the whole, they hate on him because he's biracial. That to me is a lazy argument. But what do you expect from someone who got a bunch of kids by just laying on her back and letting rappers skeet up in her? So when we talk about lazy, of course Amber is going to take the lazy argument because it's easy. It's something that gets people riled up. And talking about biracial stuff, which Kamala Harris, last time I checked, isn't she biracial? But you was going against her. You don't like her. But then, of course, then you accuse Beyonce plagiarizing your speech at Kamala's rally, and but you gonna talk about you for Drake. Why, you trying to get a baby out of him? Because you already got 2 kids. One you got from Wiz, the other one you got from Share Man. Yeah, because your man left you for a woman old enough to be his damn mother. So to wrap this up, I don't think people are pissed off at Drake for him being biracial. I really don't. Biracial, people already have a lot to deal with from both sides of the community where, as someone who is biracial, I can speak on it. If you're not, you're not considered white enough to be considered Caucasian. And then at times you're not considered black enough to be black because you don't embody the stereotypes that have been bestowed upon you from the black community. So it's like, if you don't speak a certain way, if you don't talk with like slang, if you speak with a certain diction, if you're someone who is considered highly educated, because black people get it too. If you speak a certain way where it's not like, yeah, bro, or what up, thun, and all that other stuff. You don't speak of stuff like that. Yeah, there are those stereotypes that come in. Was like, oh, would you trying to be white? Or why are you talking like a white person? You hear all that. Or sometimes, and I've had people say this to me, oh, you acting light-skinned. What the fuck does that mean? I know I'm light-skinned, but what the hell does acting light-skinned mean? Are you basically saying like I'm acting like a white person? I never paid attention to all that. I just kind of brushed it off. But I've had people say that to me. Now, do I sit up in here and run around playing the victim? I am aware that, you know what, a lot of us who are light-skinned, and I've never experienced racism, because I have never experienced racism, but I have friends who have, so I empathize with that. But I use my platform as a light-skinned human being to speak on the nuances that we have to deal with. So I'm well aware of like the privileges and the things that I have, and Drake does understand that as well. And I do believe with his thing going up against UMG, his grievances, he's using his Caucasian side of the biracialness as a way to push these in, because he thinks that he's going to be able to have access to credence. Like, he wants a piece of the pie. I don't even know what he wants. I think maybe he does think that he deserves a piece of the UMG pie, but they're looking at him like, no, sir, I don't give a damn who you are. You're not getting a piece of this. It's like, yeah, you've done enough. You made a shit ton of money for us, but no, we're not giving you a piece of the pie. You are not. This is not the Jeffersons. So, there are those stereotypes that I think that we get so caught up in as part of like the urban or the black community, that we get so caught up in those stereotypes. Now, I think the reason why people are pissed at Drake is because, he has used some of the privileges he's benefited from in the industry as a light-skinned, racially ambiguous rapper to pull shady stunts behind the scenes, allegedly sabotaging other artists. And then, you went out here and made those comments about Kendrick being a woman beater. And that's when he came in and used the PDF file stuff. And that's when a nerve was struck. But then again, if you didn't give him the ammunition when you wasn't up here allegedly sliding in underage girls' DMs, Millie Bobby Brown, then he wouldn't have had that ammo to use against you. And I'm sure there was a lot of people who don't like you behind the scenes who probably slid in Kendrick's DMs and was like, well, I got some tea for you. Use this one. This a freebie. I'm sure there was some people that probably slid up in there and probably hit up K-Dot just to go in hard on him. And it's not his fault that he was better at reading your ass down to the floor than anybody else was. That's probably a Young Money thing. A lot of y'all be trying to do the shady thing, and a lot of y'all like to play victim. But then when people come at y'all harder than you thought you was, then y'all want to run and hide and play victim and run with your tail between your damn legs. They all do it. I don't need to mention names. You know exactly who's on that roster. So, what else was I going to say? Oh, so yeah. So there was, the things about pulling shady stunts behind the scenes, allegedly sabotaging other artists, using the same exact system he's benefited from, allegedly, with Spotify, payola, and bots. And then when we talked about it on the show regarding him with Spotify, the time when Scorpion came out, when you went on Spotify and you was a premium user of Spotify, Drake's face was all over that damn thing for every music genre category. R&B, hip hop. I wouldn't even be surprised if they was like, if you want to listen to some polka music, listen to Drake's Scorpion. We saw that was all going on. Even Nicki Minaj brought that up on Twitter back in the day. And her tweet from her complaining about that, and when, they were she was telling me they were sabotaging her over on Spotify, that tweet came back to show that she was correct in what she said. Y'all thought she was out here just bitching, moaning, and complaining. But it's like if you're not in the industry, you don't know what's going on behind the scenes and the shenanigans and the tomfoolery and all the little stunts and shows that they be pulling behind the scenes for certain artists. So Drake's now out here trying to use the very thing that they used to benefit for him that he benefited from with his career. Now he's getting mad because it's working for Kendrick. The only problem is the people not like us. They not like us. The people was here for it. They didn't have to do payola bots and all these other little stunts and shows just to get the people to talk. They didn't have to pull rigor mortis, in the words of my girl Alyssa Edwards. They didn't have to pull a rigor mortis in order for you to get the push. Katy didn't have to bring his knee pads to the executive meeting in order for him to get to where he is. So, Amber Girl, as I said before, stick the land on your back for rappers and leave the hip-hop commentary to the professionals. So, that's all I got to say on that. But I have to say this. What do y'all guys think of this story? So, whatever your thoughts are regarding what Amber Rose had to say about Drake and her weak-ass argument over talking about that biracial, whatever. I don't even care anymore what this hoe had to say. But anyway, let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. You say he came from MTV's God Code. And yeah, oh yeah, I forgot he was on that. And yet, I mean, his humor was sexist and frat boy stuff. I feel sorry for his daughter, but he's also 41. Isn't he too old for that humor? Well, you know what? He is. You know, when you get to like your 40s and stuff, you start to go through that transition of like a Britney Spears song. You're not a girl, not yet a woman. So now, so it's like you're older, but you're still like young at heart. And you still have that youthful spirit of you in you, but you are at an age where you got to start growing up and you got to start maturing with your comedy. But yeah, he does that frat boy toilet humor, and it's like, okay, sir, you need to grow up. I used to like Amber, but after her becoming a Trumper and some of the dumb things she's been saying, I lost all respect for her when she did interviews to help her friend and her kids. I respect her for that. Drake is from Degrassi. Kendrick is from Compton. Jimmy got shot because he can't do a battle rap or street rap. Wheelchair Jimmy. Okay, so hold on. Where are we going? Okay, so we see how many. Okay, so we have 5 topics left in today's episode. So if you have not already, please do me a solid and hit that like button and that subscribe button. And also be sure to smash the notification button so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Oh my God, I totally forgot. I just totally messed up. So, because I think I closed out one of my windows that I need. But anyway, so yeah, do that. And then also, if you can, well, not if you can, but what I will be doing is I will be putting timestamps in the show once the live is done. So that way you guys can follow along with the topics if you don't want to sit through all the banter that we do through the live chat. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be adding all of that stuff in later on for those who's going to come after the live chat is done. So without further ado, let's get to our next topic and let's talk about my girl, Wendy Williams. How you doing? And so Wendy's back in the news. And, you know, we talked about her last week. That was it last week? It was recently. I'll just go with that because I can't remember. You know, we talk about so much of the show. I can't remember exact dates unless I write it down. But recently we talked about a story regarding Wendy, and Sabrina came out and was her court-appointed guardian came out and was like filing a suit against, you know, Lifetime and the people that produced the Where Is Wendy Williams docu-series, and was saying something or another that Wendy is fully incapacitated and can't get around and can't do nothing. Basically says she's a damn invalid. Like, at one point, here, hold on, because I had the picture where I was like, when it was somebody she was completely incapacitated, you know, I was expecting y'all to come out here and say that Miss Mamas look like this. That's what I be thinking that incapacitated mean. Like, you look half-past dead. Like, you just are basically a vegetable version of yourself. But apparently, Maury took that test and determined that was a damn lie. Because Wendy Williams just recently appeared out in the street. She was spotted outside a popular Fort Lauderdale restaurant called Sister Sarah's Show Enough Oysters with her nephew Travis Finney. That's basically her, I think her sister Wanda's son. It was recently reported that Wendy was permanently incapacitated following her dementia diagnosis. She looked good. So here's the video that we have. I'm gonna play it for y'all, and then we'll come back and talk. Peace out.
How you doing? How you doing, Wendy Williams? How you doing, baby? You look good.
Yeah, man.
We wanted some Sister Sarah showing up. Look at her. How you doing? What kind of oysters she got?
She got the lobster, the crab, and the original.
Okay, then.
Thank you.
That's the Wendy Williams special. That's the Williams special, baby.
Yes, thank you.
All right, have a great one. Sure.
I'm here on my food truck.
Okay, so yeah, that was her nephew, because I remember he was in the docuseries also when, hanging out with Lil Kev. I don't know where Lil Kev is, but I guess he around somewhere. So yeah, so to refresh your memory, this is a rare sighting of Williams, especially after her legal guardian, Sabrina Morrissey, claimed that the media personality's mental health condition had worsened. Now, Wendy Williams Hunter, an acclaimed entertainer who tragically has been afflicted by early onset dementia, and as a result has become cognitively impaired and permanently incapacitated, a letter filed in New York court November 12th stated. Now, filing was, and so funny enough, this was about a month ago when all of this came out, and because we're in December 16th. The filing was submitted to support Morrissey's lawsuit against A&E Networks for allegedly exploiting Williams in their Lifetime documentary, Where is Wendy Williams? And I was sitting there thinking that if you were supposed to be her court-appointed guardian, wouldn't Lifetime have to get your permission to get Wendy Williams to be able to do this project? Because they were going to make money off her and she was going to get paid to do this docuseries. So if you're my court-appointed guardian, similar to what Jamie Spears was to Britney, doesn't a guardian make all the decisions of what the person that they're guarding or guardianing gets to do? So that just didn't make sense, because it just seemed to me that Sabrina really wasn't as active into what was going on with Wendy as it all showed in the docuseries, because it felt like she was more or less worried about her reputation and how she was going to come across with the courts who had appointed her, and then the jig would be up, and then she'd probably be fired or whatever the case is. So now she want to play like, oh, well, they did all these stunts and shows and things. So now, there was another story that some people in the comments, because shout out to Twan the Don for that video, by the way. And so some people in the comments were saying she looks almost ready for her perpetrator. No, she don't. Now you tried it. Now I understand. Look, now I live for Miss Wendy. She is the queen. She is the icon. She is the moment. She always will be. And she is a mentor in my head. She is one of the many people that I've always looked up to when I wanted to get into the media space. Because I started out being behind the scenes as a writer, blogger, that sort of thing. And I've always wanted to do like on camera stuff, because I already knew I had the talent and the ability to do that. But Wendy Williams is someone who, yes, is a mentor in my head. But as far as like talking about she's ready for her purpose, I'm glad that her family is there with her and she is being taken care of. I'm glad we're seeing that, because I have been wondering, where has Wendy been? I'm glad to see she's with her family. I hope that they have the wherewithal to have her out here in the good, not only in good spirits, but they really are taking care of this woman, because she needs to be around people who care about her and not under some stupid guardianship. Because she's not going to come back from the frontal temporal dementia and aphasia. She's not going to come back from that. It just is what it is. It's irreversible. So yeah, that's wishful thinking on your part. Now, another person said she doesn't look or sound permanently incapacitated. Something is super off with this whole mess. Yeah, Sabrina lying ass out here trying to perpetuate a certain narrative. But I'm glad the family low key and shadily, and I'm glad enough with the media and everything going viral that we put it out here. It's like, Sabrina, you a damn liar. And they put it out here. So now it's like your credibility is being shot. So how you going to explain this? Because it looked like she's in good spirits. Another person said, I hope Wendy playing this role for all the things going on around her. I don't want her to be down and out. Another person said, I hope her family fights like hell for her. We miss you, Wendy. Northman is in the comments. So, who used to work with her, Wendy. So, of course, she eating fried oysters. That's what he said. Oh, because Wendy loved her some fried oysters. She always talked about that. Another person said she looks and sounds normal. Another person said a person recording sounds more incapacitated. The person recording sounds more incapacitated than that was reported to Wendy. But why they had to catch the stray just because you want to give good news for Wendy? And so yeah, everybody had like positive things to say or whatever. But then there was this other story that I had came across, so that we could wrap this up. And this was from Radar Online, who basically said an impaired Wendy Williams slipping further into dementia as loved ones tell of their panic, and said Wendy Williams technically no longer exists as we know her. Dementia destroys your ability to recall and form long-term memory. So Radar Online is reporting that those close to her have been kept in the dark after the former talk show host, 60, was placed under a court-ordered legal guardianship in May of 2022. She's been suffering from medical issues, including Graves' disease, lymphedema, and alcohol abuse. Now, a year later, in 2023, she was diagnosed with frontotemporal dementia, the same disease Bruce Willis has in aphasia. The same year, the former radio DJ reportedly allowed the crew to film her to attempt to make a comeback after the cancellation of her talk show. Now, in the docuseries, Where is Wendy Williams?, she appeared disoriented, forgetful, and erratic. It prompted her court-appointed guardian, Sabrina Morrissey, to file a lawsuit alleging Williams did not have the capacity to consent to the series. But I'm like, how is it that it's Wendy Williams' fault when I'm like, if you're the court-appointed guardian, do they have to go through the court-appointed guardian in order to get permission to get Wendy to do the show? And wouldn't you, as the court-appointed guardian, know what's going on with Wendy health-wise? Because if you're a guardian, you're supposed to be paying attention. You ain't only supposed to be paying attention to the money coming in and out of her damn bank account. You're supposed to be knowing all the other stuff too, correct? Now, according to the new court filing made by Morrissey, Wendy Williams has become cognitively impaired and permanently incapacitated. It's an old story because I happened to come across on Radar Online. It was like 4 hours ago. So you posting old tea, and now I here looking like boo fool. This is why I always said you can't believe everything that you read from Radar Online. And there's another story I have later on coming up with Jennifer Lopez that Radar Online wrote that I'm not buying either. But we'll break that down once we get to that topic. So they talk about that she's reportedly living in a mystery facility with limited access to the outside world and has only been spotted in public once at a wellness store in New Jersey in August. This is how I know that this was some old ass video. I mean, some old ass article, and y'all posted it. But then the gag was that we got this video from Twan where it showed that Wendy was recently out. And how long ago was it? It was 21 hours ago from I guess when I first posted it up. So this was recent. But I'm sure they probably had this bullet in the chamber for a while. And now you want to put it out here, but you're no shade. Oh yeah, lots of shade. Radar Online, you're about 2000 and late with this post. So it's not giving. And you're way off with this situation. So yeah, I'm not buying this story at all because you're talking about that she hasn't been seen and she's in a facility, but why is she with her nephew and why is she seen out and about with some people and she just went and got her some seafood and she's out here eating fried oysters? So yeah, they're up in here talking about people who know her, care about her, would like to know, but for some reason they're not being told anything in their attempts to reach Wendy or block. It's frustrating and hurtful to imagine Wendy being left somewhere as her physical and mental health declines. But she's not being left just anywhere. She was just with her family eating fried oysters. How many times I gotta say it? So, Radar Online, you're full of shit with your story. But overall, I'm happy for you, Wendy. I'm glad to see you with good spirits. I hope that, the people that are surrounding you are taking good care of you and that, I still got love for her and I hope that she, continues to do better. and get her health on track. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story regarding Wendy Williams and the latest on her? So whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Alex says Perez Hilton claims Brittany brother has been giving her. Child, I've been hearing the stories about Brian. Damn. Let me see. Hold on, because I think I have the screenshots. Yo, how they sit up here talking about there's 16 shifts available for the Garden, but then I ain't even going there. But then when people were trying to claim them the other day, it wasn't going on. Okay, so where is it? Because I remember I sent it to my group chat, and I was like, "Child, I gagged when I saw this." But I got to see if oh yeah, so I do have it. So apparently, Brian's ex-girlfriend was spilling all kinds of tea on social media and said the following. She said, when you're 50 years old and beat up girls and go meth and mooch off your sister, Mexico has that cheap meth, Adderall, you can tell by people's faces. It's sad, I've always tried to be a help, but some people are their own worst enemy. Another person said, all day today, Brian cursed me out. He's been harassing me since October. He punched me in the night before my biopsy because he threatened me that I better not go to a Halloween party. His mom is the enabler. Why are we not surprised about Brittany crazy ass mother? I signed 2 NDAs. The first one, the family trapped me in a corner in Florida and forced me to. Otherwise, I was stuck without getting home. And the second one I did to be nice for his sister, but but Brian has ruined that NDA by the things he's done to me. I have kept quiet to be nice to his daughter, but quite frankly, that P. Diddy wannabe, but the world needs to know he's a creep who I say the things he's done even in front of his daughter. Then I said, Brian, why don't you tell B how you told Ish about her to her security, Nina, and everyone else in her life, like Kate, your mom, me, all your friends. You love to control her and use all her money. Poor girl is posting videos of you thinking you're being a good brother, yet I have recordings of what the F you is your actual agenda. Do yourself a favor and stop with the Mexican meth and BS and happening me. Wait, oh, sorry, and harassing me because why you cross out harassing? You can't say that. Some bad word. Harass me every day, telling me I'm cheating on you while I'm watching a movie with my mom, then find out you're in Mexico, back for more drugs, while you haven't been by my side one day of since. While you haven't been by my side one day of cancer, F you. Keep drugging up your sister and living off her money, then complaining to everyone she's hallucinating and talking to walls. You're going to lose your sister like my brother died. Ooh, so child. What's her name? Well, I saw like somebody by the name of, I don't know what the girl name is, but I see a lot of people posting up the screenshots, and there's that. So it's a mess. He said possible because Brittany does look strung out sometimes. Wendy seems better than she did in that Quiet as a Scam. Yeah, she does seem better than she was in that docuseries. Okay, so now let's go from Wendy Williams to the Diddler, who was her favorite subject to go in on back in the day. So now Dawn Richard, who you know was a part of Trinity Kane and then also was a part of the supergroup the Diddler Dirty Money, the Diddler's Dirty Ass Money, or whatever you want to call it. I'm knocking stuff over. So she waited years to tell the story of how the Diddler allegedly abused her while she was a member of the girl group Trinity Kane. So according to Radar Online, they could reveal that Richard's attorney, Lisa Bloom, Lord, that she got glory already, daughter, said the singer decided to come forward and file a lawsuit against Combs after she saw the viral hotel surveillance footage of the music mogul attacking his then girlfriend, Cassie Ventura. Now, Bloom said of her client, saying that she's an accomplished woman and she's all about the music. She's not all about that bass, no treble. You know, I had to throw the Meghan Trainor reference up in there. Now, they said all she wants to do is make music and be a musician. And yet she found herself in the position after Cassie Ventura came forward of saying, I need to come forward too, in support of Cassie and in support of others to tell my own story. Now, in her suit, Richards claims, or Richard, as I guess, I believe that's how you say her name. Richard claimed she suffered economic harm, physical injury, pain, suffering, and serious psychological and emotional distress when she worked for the disgraced music producer. And we've seen how Diddy treats people when it comes down to expect and masks it as greatness or aspiring for greatness. Now, Diddy was indicted and arrested on charges. We don't need to go into the because we already know by now. We talk about him so damn much on the show. Y'all should probably know by heart what he was charged with. Now, the Pops also claimed the late night rapper demanded she strip down on her underwear while also calling her lazy, fat, ugly, and skinny. I know he ain't talking about nobody looks. In front of producers, bodyguards, and his friends. Now, in the lawsuit, she also claimed that Combs made sexual advances toward her during an October 2010 trip to perform in Glasgow, Scotland. Now, Diddy is also accused of manipulating Richard for years after promising he would push her music career when she was in Danity Kane. He said she wasn't paid for her work and claimed she was kept from eating and sleeping due to the grueling work schedule Combs pushed. The rapper has, of course, denied the allegations, just like he denied the same allegations against Cassie, but then we saw the video footage, and then all of a sudden everybody had to come around and believe her because the only way y'all believe stuff apparently is with evidence, but it's hard to prove assault unless there's cameras that's there to capture it. And like a dummy, Diddy was out here filming a lot of his sexcapades, especially the freak-offs. So there was all of that. Now, in regards of Dawn, I definitely believe that she endured a lot of stuff. She's been coming out talking about Diddy. Aubrey O'Day has come out and hasn't taken her foot off his damn neck when it came to the stuff that she said about Diddy. She was the one that was back in the day when it wasn't popular, but stood up to his ass when he was doing all that shady stuff. And we were sitting here kikiing and laughing and enjoying it because we thought it was good TV. But then when now we look back on it, we realize that Diddy was a nightmare. He was a nuisance. He was a disgusting human being. I mean, I've always said stuff about Diddy being the damn devil. I ain't never liked his ass. So I'm glad that he's finally getting his comeuppance. And that he's getting now, we got to wait and see what happens with Jay-Z and all that other stuff that's coming out with him. But in regards to this whole situation, she's filed a lawsuit. Do I think that she'll get her just due? I'm sure she will. Now, all them other ones that Tony Buzz be going after, that's TBD. But in regards to this, I'm just going to keep my eyes open and see what happens with Dawn and the Diddler and see what transpires from that. Right there, she don't look like she's too happy standing next to him. And I like Dawn as a solo act. I don't even like her song that she did with Kaytranada. She always puts out good bops. She's another one that really pushes the envelope in regards to like performance and music and that sort of thing. She's an underrated artist. And I expected her to blow up, but maybe there was some sabotage on Diddy's part where he wasn't trying to push her because, he sometimes be wishing he was one of those big musicians or pop acts, but he was never that person. But like he said, I write rhymes. I don't write rhymes. I write checks. So I said all this to say, what do y'all think of this story in regards of Dawn and her latest lawsuit and the abuse that she had to endure at the hands of the Diddler? I'll keep an eye on that story as it develops. But anyway, in the meantime, let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Mine too. I love Dawn. Who else did I like? Well, I ain't particularly care for all the other girls. I just felt like Dawn and Aubrey were like my top two. And Shannon a little bit. Andrea, she was cute. But I was like, I ain't really care for D Woods. But yeah, I would say like Aubrey and Dawn were like my top two. And I've always been out here supporting a lot of, Dawn's music. And whenever she would put out something, I was always out here, listening to it. So I've usually I always thought she was going to come across as the Black Bjork, the way she was kind of going for it with her career, but it didn't work out that way. Okay. So now, hold on. What are we going to? Oh, wait, let me go to I got stuff open. Hold on. Okay, so let's move on. Let's talk about Miss Hannaford, who according to Radar Online, they saying that she's feeling in her spirit that Ben Affleck is not over his first wife, Jennifer Garner. And like he did with her, with Miss Hannaford, well, they broke up for 2 decades, and then he ran around love bombing her and to get Hannaford to believe in love yet again, because that was the love that got away, and that was her first love, where she feel like that he broke her heart. Then they get back together, they get married, and then he breaks her heart again. Because apparently y'all marriage only got a 2-year warranty on it. Their relationship, when the first time 20 some odd years ago, it was a 2-year warranty, and now with the marriage, it was a 2-year warranty, and they still married. They still haven't signed off, dotted their I's across their T's in regards to the divorce. But now she's feeling like, allegedly, according to Radar Online, that they're not getting that they're not going to divorce or whatever, or that he's going to get back with his ex. I guess what I'm trying to say. So could Affleck be angling to get back with his first wife, Garner, now that his split from Lopez is done and dusted? Those in the singer's inner circle certainly have their suspicions, with J-Lo reportedly fully expecting her ex-husband to attempt to rekindle his relationship with the mother of his children. Now, one Hollywood insider says Hannaford, 55, thinks her predecessor was unintentionally casting a shadow over her 2-year marriage to Ben, which ended earlier this year, Radar Online can reveal. Now, adding weight to this rumor was a recent public sighting of Affleck and Lopez, both 52, hanging together over. Wait, what? That wasn't Lopez and Affleck. I think they made a mistake. First of all, it was Affleck and Garner. They were hanging out together over the Thanksgiving holiday weekend. But what people have to, because they said the former couple volunteered alongside their children, Violet 18, Finn 15, and Samuel 12, at the Midnight Mission in downtown LA, where they help serve meals to the homeless. And that's more of a charitable thing. And I feel like, you know what? I think Jennifer Garner brings out the humanity in Ben. Hannaford Lopez is too caught up in the glitz and the glamour and herself, which is why I think she will forever be alone. And there's nothing wrong with being alone. Sometimes if you need to get your pipes clean, and you go and get you a man, run up in you for a couple of an hour, maybe 45 minutes to an hour, and then set him on his merry way. And then you go back to, counting the rocks that you got. So, but Jennifer Garner does seem like this wholesome apple pie family woman. Ben Affleck looks like he wants that, but to me, I can't with him. He is so indecisive. He's all over the place. He flip-flops. He don't know what the hell. I just feel like he don't know what the hell he want. And let him have his little cigarettes and his coffee. I can imagine what he smell like. Like, I feel like he could melt titanium with that breath. If you be out here smoking and drinking coffee all the damn time, I hope you pop gum, or you always got your mouth smelling minty fresh. Because if you putting all that stuff in your system, your insides must be a disaster. So when it comes down to it, I don't think they're going to get back together. First of all, Jennifer Garner is in a relationship. Whatever's happening with that is happening with that. She's not really open and out in the open in regards to that. So we don't need to get caught up in that. Now, I did hear recently that all three reunited at their kids' school, because apparently Finn and Emmy, who is the child of Mark Anthony and Hannaford, are in a play together. So all three were in the audience watching their children performing. So does this mean that Emmy has the acting bug? Because we don't really see a lot of Max out here. Max always keeps like a low profile. But Emmy, we always see them out and about with their mother. And, I guess they've become accustomed to the paparazzi, and they ignore, and they always got their music on and not paying attention to all the stuff, because that's what they're used to. Hannaford's children, I'm sure, used to the spotlight and the paparazzi. Now, they said at one point, Ben was pictured leaning over to whisper in Jen's ear. The cozy display will no doubt have touched the nerve when Hannaford, Radar Online, reported earlier this year that seeing photos of Affleck and Garner looking more like a couple than a pair of exes proved to be the final straw for Hannaford. I don't know if I believe this story, though, but here's the thing. What people need to realize whenever you get a relationship with someone, if the person has children from a previous relationship, they're going to be forever connected to that person, even if the relationship no longer works out. So This is not Jennifer's first time at the rodeo in regards of blending families. She did it when it came to Mark. She did it when it came to A-Rod. She did it when she was with Ben. So she understands how the whole blended family situation works. I just feel like Radar Online, y'all out here trying to create a mountain out of a molehill. I do not believe that this is going to happen. Now, if they do end up back together, I'll eat some crow. Not an actual one, an imaginary one. But I'll take back my words and I'll apologize. But I don't see Jennifer Garner wanting to go back to dealing with Ben, especially if he's at his big old age of 52 and you haven't evolved from being a hot drunken mess. I know he is someone who struggles with his sobriety. I don't think he's relapsed. I don't think he's back to drinking. And Jennifer Garner was there to nurse him back to health when he's out here being a hot ass mess. But do you want a nurse or do you want a woman that you can love up on? And Ben is focused on so many other things right now that I don't agree with what they're saying about that. So I think, like, because it's the holidays, Ben does do charitable things, which is what a lot of celebrity does. I don't think he's going to do it just because he wants a photo op. It's probably something that when he was in a relationship with Jen and the kids were growing up, that this was something that they did every year, or they did while they were married. So with him being single and him not being attached to Jennifer, he can go and do things with his family because maybe he doesn't want to be tempted by drinking, whatever the case was. So what keeps him from the temptations, the dark temptations, is hanging out with his children, doing things with Jen Garner, and not being caught up in all that foo-foo-la stuff that Jennifer is allegedly all about. So that's basically what I'm taking from this story. But I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story, or what did you take from this story? You don't have to agree with me on my assessment. I'm definitely always open for different assessments in this whole situation. And then I do want to point this out. So they said this. They said, even as recently as November, Lopez made a pointed remark that could be interpreted as a dig at her ex during an interview on the Lipstick on the Rim podcast. What the hell was I? Because I didn't even know she did that podcast. Now, when asked by the podcast host to share her favorite quote or mantra, Lopez responded, "Don't marry a man thinking you can change him." Now, while Lopez is signaling that she has no intention of reuniting with Affleck, she is still not convinced it's been horrible for her. Is according to the source. So if she goes and says, "Don't marry a man thinking you can change him," then yes, you should not be going to any kind of relationship thinking that you are. Relationships in general is work, but you know who you got with before you walk down the aisle and you married the person. So to think that you could walk up into a relationship and thinking that you could be a fixer or you can change the person's spots, or you could change the leopard spots, that's not how it works. It's like you got to be able to figure out how you work through the flaws or whatever the case is. So if she's up in here trying to structure or reconstruct her man into what she wants him to be, girl, you doomed to fail. That relationship is doomed to fail. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story, as I said earlier? Because I didn't read that last part. So I was like, that might make sense to bring that up. So whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Okay, so Sailor Mermaid says, "I'm tired of this divorce story. Jennifer and Ben, get us out of the group chat." You know who they also need to get out of the group chat? And I'm glad I didn't talk about it, because apparently they were talking about Cardi being Offset. Cardi was at Offset's birthday party or something or another. There was some alleged DMs that was leaked, or not even, or they said that somebody hacked and then Offset wanted to post it. I don't know. It was so confusing. I'm like, I am not sitting here talking about. Now, speaking of, people who need to keep us out of the group chats, hold on now. So Mason Gooding is in Scream 7. Now that's hilarious. So y'all got Mason Gooding up in there, but y'all don't got Jasmine Savoy Brown? Okay. Well, hold on now, because now we got to break this news in. And this is, damn, I was almost done with the show. I was like, why am I saying Porfy? His cute little son. He moving back to LA. That's what's her name's ex. We said, if your partner has been physically violent at any level with you during disagreements, leave. No matter how much you love them, they will take advantage of tolerance, and it will escalate to actual physical abuse, trauma. It will trick you into normalizing. Child, let's get up off that. But hold on, because I want to see if, because you know, with all of this, and this literally was like 20 minutes ago. So, of course, now I have to create a thingamabob, and then I'll get to all of y'all stuff in a second. Okay, so hold on. It's like, you know, wait, what is that? Okay, that's the Jennifer Lopez. Close that. Oh, I just love doing it live because child, it just, you know, comes out. Okay. So now let's get into this story. So now, after Jasmine Brown came out last week and revealed that she wasn't going to be in Scream 7, it looks like Mason Gooding apparently is returning to Scream 7. So we got Chad Meeks coming, but what about your sister? So according to Variety, and let's read that as a class. So hold on, let's murder that and we can just go down it. Since this is like literally breaking news, like I didn't even have time to read through it or nothing. Okay, so here we go. So it says, sources tell me that the actor, and this is, you know, pretty legit if we're talking about Variety, because that's the trades. So sources tell me that the actor will reprise his role, Chad Meeks Martin, for the 7th installment of the horror franchise. Jasmine Savoy Brown, who plays Chad's sister, Mindy, has not officially signed on yet. So maybe what it is that she could be lying and probably was like, I'm coming back, but I can't really say nothing. But now that this story is out, it kind of makes us think that maybe he is coming back. Sidebar, I need to watch this Aaron Hernandez story. So they said news of Gooding's return comes after the film weathered production delays, creative overhauls, and cast shakeups. Now, back in March, Gooding addressed the hiccups, saying, if it could make money, I guarantee they're making it. He told me at the time, it's all about keeping up with what feels like is the best movie for the fans. Scream doesn't exist without the people who enjoy it as much as they do. If people want it, they will certainly try their best to see it happen. Now, you know, we have so far, who do we have up in here? Neve Campbell, we have her coming back, and they said after she skipped the 6th film due to a salary dispute, along with Campbell's return, the film will mark Kevin Williams' first time directing a Scream movie. Williams wrote the script for the first Scream in 1996. He also came on board as a director for the latest installment after Christopher Landon exited the project. Now, they said that Courtney Cox has circled a return for Scream 7, but still has not officially signed on to play Gail Weathers. New cast members will include Isabel May as the daughter of Campbell's Sidney Prescott, as well as McKenna Grace, Sam Reckner, and Asa German. And they said Gooding also started. Now, it could be also maybe Mason Gooding is a exclusive for Spyglass, because here's the thing. Mason Gooding is going to be starring in the movie Hard Eyes. We did break down like the horror movies that's supposed to be coming out in 2025. So Hard Eyes is one of them. Supposed to come out in February. It's like a Valentine's Day ass slasher, which I believe, speaking of Christopher Landon, I believe he co-wrote the script. But it's for Screen Gems and Spyglass. It's coming out on February 7th. He's currently in the movie Y2K with, you know, who is like Kyle Mooney's disaster comedy. He was actually at Kyle Mooney. He was actually at Jingle Ball, and he introduced the kid Leroy, because apparently the kid Leroy is in this movie as well. But Y2K, I heard bomb. But it's funny how they're bringing the Meeks kids back, the Meeks Martin kids, because you know they are related to Randy Meeks. That's Randy's sister's children, played by my girl Heather Matarazzo. And so we have them coming back, but then of course with Melissa Barrera and Jenna Ortega, they're not coming back. So, you know, we got the core 4. We got one out of the core 4. We got the core 1/4, I guess we'll call them 1 out of the 4. So we only got 1 on so far. I'm sure that if we got Mason Gooding coming back as Chad Meeks, then I'm sure that we have Mindy coming back. So in a way, you can use them because they're related to Randy. Whereas, I guess when it comes to the Carpenter sisters, yeah, there's a connection because of Billy Loomis and the girl he cheated on Sydney with, because they were boyfriend and girlfriend and she wasn't giving him any. So he went and slid it up in the girl and got her pregnant. And I guess the overall embarrassment of your man being a killer, you kept the baby's secret under wraps. But you kept oh my God, I totally forgot her damn name in the damn show. But anyway, you kept Melissa Barrera's character's name, kept her under wraps. You didn't want anybody to know who she was or who she was related to or who her connection was with her father. Now, her father was a damn serial killer. And they are trying to take the Dexter approach with that sort of thing. So I'm excited for this news, though. I mean, I don't know where they're planning on going with this in this direction. I already said before, I don't like the idea of them trying to pander to the younger generation, because that's what it definitely feels like. That you're trying to go after the Gen Z crowd because they were the ones that loved the thing, and you already know people are getting the we want Melissa Barrera. We want Melissa Barrera. Bring Sam Carpenter back. It's funny how I remember her name as I'm saying it. Bring Sam Carpenter back. Blah, 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 blah. So they're mad because the whole call for is not coming back. But then you have Sydney, and then you have all these other people. Like I said, I'm going to wait and see what they do with this whole thing when it comes in 2026. But for the most part, I don't like the idea that they're still trying to pander to the younger audience because they're running around here on social media pissed off about the way that they handled Melissa Barrera, and they fired her over her comments over Palestine and her wanting to stand for, stop causing this genocide. And rightfully so. That's where a lot of the young people's opinions and voices are about today. And if the studios want to get in their feelings about it, then that's fine. But why y'all still trying to pander to them when you should be pandering to the legacy fans, those of us who've been rocking with Scream from the beginning? We the ones that's out here going to truly go to the movies and support it. Yeah, the kids will probably go and see it or whatever the case was, but they don't value the theater like we do. I grew up with Scream, so why not try to continue to give us something regarding this story? You want to continue to pander to it, like you're going younger with these kids, then you want to bring people from the last 2 Scream movies into this. So I don't know what the hell's going on with Spyglass. So I say all this to say, well, I'm excited for Mason Gooding because I like him and I'm glad he got another job. I'm sure it is. I just feel like, you know what? People are just gonna, I'm sure people are just feeling like, you know what? It's just the whole, I don't know. I don't feel anything about I guess maybe I don't really have it. I'm feeling different. It's like, it's cute or whatever. It's great. I'm glad Variety got this scoop. But I just don't think it's going to move the needle in any way because the people are going to be like, yeah, okay, you got Mason Gooding. And I'm sure that Jasmine Brown is going to sign on next. But what about Jenna Ortega? What about Sam Carpenter? Melissa Barrera. What about her? That's the one that they really want. If you go and bring this in, I'm sure the fans will be happy, and then it'll be like, but then they'll probably come out and say, "Well, see, we got them to do what we wanted them to do," and all that mess. But whatever, you can't satisfy anybody. So, like I said, I'll be out of here and I'll go see the movie when it comes out, opening weekend. But yeah, I don't have anything else to say on that. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay, so Felix says, I think Hannaford is the one holding up the divorce. Probably. Oh, you were talking about wait, I gotta go back to the other comments because it was like I saw that breaking news. Roro says, but didn't B-Fleck tell Hannaford he never loved Jay? Who knows? You ain't the only one confusion. I'm confused too. And I think maybe he is. He going back and forth, don't know what the hell he want 9 times out of 10. So I'm over Ben and his buffoonery and his gaslighting. His girlfriend's name is Amber. Who, Ben? Ben got a girlfriend? I thought he was like, he told me he was single. I still can't believe she named her kids after the human kids from Dragon Tales. Then again, that show is my childhood and iconic, so she saw the vision. Wait, who named their kids after the human kids from Dragon Tales? Max and Emmy? Did she? I didn't know that. You said, I think Hannaford is the one holding up the divorce. Yeah, because they making it sound like they divorced. I'm like, they're not divorced. She filed. But did they actually finalize it? Yeah, he definitely still works with Spyglass. Like, he's doing Hard Eyes. So I wonder if he's like a Spyglass. I mean, he does other things, I'm sure, but I wonder if he's a Spyglass exclusive, meaning that you are contractually obligated to pop up in. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they put him in Thanksgiving too. When I said his girlfriend's name is Amber, I meant oh, you talking about Brittany's brother. It's all about them. It's all about the money, money, money. We don't need the money, money, money. Remember that song from damn, I forgot her damn name. And I see her in my head too. Did she ever have a baby with Channing Tatum? I could have sworn she got knocked up by Channing Tatum. It's all about the money. I keep telling people they announce it when the deals are done. Same thing with Jennifer Love Hewitt. Yeah, it is about the money. I do believe that the guy might be Billy and Sydney's son, because Nancy Loomis did say in Scream 2, we all have secrets, don't we, Sydney? Watch Mason get dragged. You think they're going to really kill him off in that one, too? Because, you know, the one thing we was getting irritated about was the plot armor. I feel like they were trying to go do the same thing that they did to Dewey and make that more like the Chad character where you getting stabbed up and you still survive. Like, I feel like y'all were trying to put that on him. But yeah, it could be the fact that Jessie J, that was, yeah, thank you. But I was like, no, back in the day, she actually was with Channing Tatum. This is before he got with Zoe Kravitz, who he's no longer with. But I do remember that at one point he was in a relationship with Jessie J, and I thought she had wound up getting pregnant by him. But yeah, there could be a thing where it's like, yeah, Sydney, when she lost her virginity, she wound up getting pregnant, kept a secret, gave the baby up, and went off to college. They could slide that up in there. They really could. And play it off like, yeah, well, Sydney, this ain't her first time at the rodeo. Like, secrets coming back to haunt you. They could put that in there. We don't know what happened during the events of Scream and Scream 2. And they could play it up that, yeah, when that one night she had with Billy, she ended up pregnant. And then she had the baby, put it up, and went to college. Melissa will never work with Spyglass. I think Jenna supporting Melissa isn't a pay issue. Yeah. And look, they're all doing their thing. The franchise will be fine. That's why I said I feel like at this point they should just been like, fuck the younger kids. Play it up the whole Sydney Prescott Gen X situation and really pander to those of us who have followed the Scream franchise from the beginning and not play into this, oh, we still got to cater to the younger audience. And then we're only using Nev as a crutch because we effed up with this situation. So now we got to go back to Nev Campbell and get her to come in real quick. So that way she can help save the franchise because she is the iconic final girl from the franchise. So we see what y'all doing over there. And it's messy. But I just hope that look, if the script is good, I'll be able to put all this speculation to the side. And I'm sure the critical overlords and the We Watching Movies, all of them is making their breaking news video as we speak. But thank God for going live because I could just cut this up and post it up right after this show was over. Oh, yes, it was. Is she with Luke James? I didn't know that. I think they genuinely became friends. Yeah, I think all of them was like relatively friends. And I was like, no, and my thing would be no hard feelings. I'm an actor, so I got to work. And so when people getting in this whole bag of being all pissed off, when it's, oh, you're a sellout because you doing this movie. Are you going to pay their bills? Are you going to put up the coin for them to pay their dues as actors? Are you actually going to help them pay their rent for the month? For the next couple of months? Like, if y'all gonna come up here and go in on these actors who are just here to do a job instead of going after the studio for the shady things that they would do behind the scenes. And these days with all these cuts and stuff going on in Hollywood, roles are few and far between. He's a piece of shit. Remember, what was it? I think he's such a clout chaser and attention whore. And don't even get me started on his slow ass looking kid. So you want to sit up here and want to read people and talk about trans kids to blame for school shootings? Is this what we're doing? When I'm sure he probably voted for Trump. Dumbass bitch. But what was it that he wanted coming out with that whole non-binary they them thing, and he pissed me off with that. After that, I definitely unfollowed him. I have not watched this show ever since. And plus, speaking of slow, the one thing I can't stand about him is the way he talks on his shows. Everything has to be over enunciated when he talks. Like, nobody talks like that. So, and he wonders why he can't get no ass. Because you're a horrible human being. I don't care how many times you run around here talking about you a changed queen. You ain't. You tired. You a tired queen. You ain't a changed one. But anyway, let's move on and let's talk about Drag Race. Speaking of trans people, since they want to come up in here and let's get some positive news. So shout out to my girl Trinity K. Bonet. Trinity. Who has come out as a trans woman. And, you know, she's from Drag Race Season 6 and All-Star 6. So she loves the number 6, apparently. Now, Trinity, who first appeared on Season 6 of RuPaul's Drag Race in 2014, but before returning for All-Star 6 in 2021, posted several hints to social media that implied that she is now going by Trinity. Even when not performing, including a selfie on Instagram accompanied by the trans flag emoji, and this came out today. So I do have that post where, please hold as I pull that up for y'all if you have not seen it. I had a lot of people sliding my DMs and sending me the Trinity stuff, and I'm glad they sent it to me because I almost forgot to add this story to the docket today. So now, the Drag Race fan favorite also posted an infographic to her Instagram story detailing the characteristics of the Aquarius woman, December 14th, and another Instagram story the following day with the Snapchat username Trinity Jones. Now, in a statement to Our Magazine, Trinity confirmed, yeah, I did come out as trans, LOL, but I'm not trying to do interviews and make a big deal about it. I've always been Trinity. I'm just keeping the wig on, LOL. And you want to know something? I like that. Because there'd be a lot of times when people want to come out and they want to accuse the LGBTs of always trying to push an agenda whenever we come out as a part of the community. So yeah, in case you can't read it, what it says. So she's like, yeah, I'm out as trans. I'm posting on my social medias, but I'm not trying to do no whole interview. I'm not trying to be someone who wants to throw my fist up and advocate for the community, because not everybody has the energy or the wherewithal to get out here and be a social justice warrior. There are some people that are built for that, and we've seen them. But she said she's not one of them. We need to respect that. So it says the Aquarius woman, she is a true free spirit. She is very future oriented. She is always planning ahead and thinking about what's to come. She is strong and independent. If you tell her what to do, she will do the opposite. She likes to be in charge of her life and make the decisions. Her mind is constantly thinking, and she's often zoned out. She is friendly and easy to get along with. She is open-minded. She beats her own drum and does as she pleases. She is a deep thinker and is always reinventing herself. In love, the Aquarius woman is practical and easygoing. She doesn't care for romance, but rather a lover who could be her best friend. She needs her lover to give her the freedom to be herself and encourage her an evolving mindset. And it's funny because I'm reading all this stuff, and I remember Sailor Mermaid and I was having a conversation where he was talking about he was going to read my chart and was telling me that my chart was looking crazy. And it's about that, talking about that I had 2 sets of stelliums in the first and second house. I'm like, I don't know what that means. But I definitely need my chart red. I need my chart red. You've been red. I'm the one. And then posted this, which I believe is her Snapchat. People still use Snapchat. So it's like, which goes by Trinity Jones. So there she is announcing that she is a fully realized trans woman. So then also they said Miss Trinity, you know, she plays 6 on, it's funny, she was on season 6, All-Star 6, and she played 666 on RuPaul's Drag Race season 6 in 2014 as part of an iconic cast and featuring Adore Delano, Courtney X, and Bianca Del Rio. She later was robbed of a top 4 spot, placed 5th on All-Star 6 and making the top 4, and then being swapped out for Eureka Big Back Ass after the latter returned to the competition. Now, Trinity is not the only drag race queen, honey, is what I'm trying to say, is to have come out as trans after a stint in the workroom. All Stars 2 legend Detox also recently came out as a trans woman. Now, the other trans queens, or the other queens that have come out as transgender, Amethyst, Kitty Space from Drag Race France, Madame LaQueer, Jinx Monsoon, and Adore Delano have also opened up about their trans identities alongside All Stars 4 Valentina, and recently telling Drag Race mini docuseries Portrait of a Queen. I actually like that show, by the way, that she experienced suicidal thoughts when questioning her gender identity. So there's that. And also, for those of you who don't remember, I need a reminder. January 3rd is the premiere of season 17. I already told you I'm going to the premiere on Wednesday, so I'm excited about that. The New York premiere, they always have it in New York, but yeah, there's a New York premiere that's coming. And so, you know what? Shout out to you, Trinity. I've always liked Trinity. I actually got to interview her back when I did my radio show, the Chris Avalon show, when I was doing it with All Digital Radio. I think it was like my first or second season. I did an interview with Trinity, so that was, you know, awesome. That was around the time I think she did, might have been when she did All Stars. But, you know, people was in the comments and they said the following. Now, one person said, just heard the news and came to support TKB, even though I expect some joke from Bianca. Yeah, I definitely would love to see what Bianca got to say about this. Another person said, why the pronouns in her bio are mask? Huh? Whatever. Maybe she didn't change it. And then, so yeah, they got a couple of people in here who was like, miss you, babe. Another person said, love you. Another person said, congratulations, sending you love and support as always. So a lot of people were in the comments showing Trinity some love and support. And, you know, kudos to her, because it's not easy out here being trans, especially in the United States of America, where they're going to enduring a lot of mess in these upcoming, you know, years, regarding you know who being in the damn White House on January 20th. So whatever your thoughts are regarding Trinity coming out as a trans woman, let me know in the comments down below. Okay. Luigi Mangione documentary in the works. It's funny, Martin Scorsese's doing one, then 50 Cent's talking about doing one. That's interesting that Martin Scorsese wants to do a documentary. I'll check it out. I related to that heavy as an Aquarius rising. LOL, I said it was interesting, not crazy. So I'll call you after to explain it to you. Stellum in the first and second hour. What is that? The first hour and second hour usually indicates an importance of identity. 1 hour and money, 2 hour in your. Ooh. So does that mean I'm getting some coins that's coming my way? Because I could use a little raise in my situation. LOL, the mask should be short for mascara. Okay, I said, how y'all trying to say why is her pronouns mask? I said, yeah, it is for mascara. That'd have been a good comeback. So I guess Onyx is much into a lot of the chart readings and stuff as well. They say like the 1 hour is like a point of identity, and then you have money. Well, look, I could use a little extra money. Okay. Oh, you said houses, whatever. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, but anyway, let me get to something I actually know what the hell I'm talking about, and these damn hot topics. And let's talk about Doechii, who's coming for the bisexuals, but in a positive way. She's not throwing shade, unlike them dingbats over there at the Breakfast Club, where you got Charlemagne the Goddess, you got DJ Dumbass Envy, and then you got Jess Hilarious. So Doechii is continuing to prove herself as a Gen Z bicon with her recent appearance on The Breakfast Club. Now, during a recent interview on The Breakfast Club, where like I said, DJ Dumbass Envy, Jess Hilarious, And Charlamagne the Goddess, what it is, Block Boy performer Doechii was questioned about a former partner who she said slept with a man behind her back. Now, she also said she identifies as bisexual. And, you know, of course, with it being, you know, the dummies over there at, what's that show? Because I don't even watch them no more. Like, I've been unsubscribed from the Breakfast Club because they always saying some dumbness over there. Or did you say bitch assness? So when they always try to look for a moment, like I guess to rile up their certain base of homophobes or whatever the case is, to jump in the comments. That's why I don't particularly care for whenever people like the Breakfast Club talk about LGBTQ LMNOP plus issues or the shade room or any of them, because I already know what y'all gonna give in them damn comments. But meanwhile, when y'all talk about we try to push an agenda or whatever the case is, with sexuality is a spectrum, sexuality is also fluid. But it's like, why y'all sit up here talking about that we try to push an agenda, be you gay or bisexual or trans? But it's like, but wait a minute, for all of our lives, we've had heterosexuality pushed upon us and it didn't take. So what are you talking about? Or we've had to, or people get depressed or they want to take in their own lives because they can't live their authentic self because you want them to be straight. So Doechii, who is bisexual, as I stated earlier, began discussing her 2024 song "Denial Is a River," which I absolutely love. First of all, I love her record, her latest album, which references the famed Wendy Williams quote, "Denial is a river in Egypt. Your husband is gay," from her Wendy Williams Experience show. Saying denial is a river, I titled it that because I was dealing with somebody who was lying to themselves. But anyway, she laughed before reflecting on her sobriety journey, saying, I came to that point where I realized that I couldn't create music without drinking in the studio. And that was my breaking point where I was like, I have truly forgotten the source of my creativity, the source of who I am. Well, yeah, because drugs definitely dilutes that. And so you have to be open to allowing that creative aspect of yourself to shine through, and don't let the drugs, like the weed, the liquor, all that stuff, people think that that's helping with the creativity. It's actually hindering it. And I remember once upon a time Missy Elliott was saying that that's what that was doing, which is why she quit smoking weed. Now when the radio host turned the conversation back to her past relationship, of course, because they need that thing to get them to go viral, that's what they do. So it's let's focus on sexuality, because Americans are so goddamn repressed when it comes to talking about sex and sexuality. So Doechii confirmed that Williams influenced Denial Is a River before being pushed by Charlamagne the Goddess about her experience being with a man who had an affair with another man. Now I do have that clip in case y'all don't remember. Wendy from the Wendy Williams Experience. So hold on. Wait, that's not it. I was like, so let's go to that. We'll play the clip, and then I'll get into the rest of the topic. Please hold.
Lucy's on the phone. She's married to a possible bisexual man.
I'm not too sure about it. I asked him, and of course he denied it. But we had some extra fun sometimes.
Yeah.
And one of that, I saw him did something I was in school, found out.
What did your husband do that made you uncomfortable?
Wendy, he went down.
Down where?
Other guy.
Well, he's
God dang,
stupid.
What more do you need to know, you donkey? How you doing? What do you need to know, you donkey? How you doing?
He considered having extra fun. He didn't admit it to me.
Lucy, stop it. Denial is a river in Egypt. Your husband is gay. He's guys. If you want to stay, there's nothing wrong with it. To each his own when it comes to relationships, Lucy.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
I am screaming, child. That was funny. She said, he's gay, he's a homo, he sucks guys. I remember she used to say that on the radio show. I totally forgot about that clip. But back in the day when we used to say, how you doing? That definitely was not the official greeting of the show. It was basically a bullhorn as your man is a homosexual, and that was what it was used for back in the radio days. Because I told you I used to follow Wendy back in her radio days. So to get back to what the whole thing about the bisexual situation, because Charlamagne pushed, probably because he has those feelings, about her experience being with a man who had an affair with another man. And she said, is it shocking? Is it though? She wondered out loud, with the radio host retorting, not in 2024, not really. How do you feel? I mean, how do you deal with that when you find that out? But if it's not a big deal in 2024, then why are you pressing it? And so she said, I mean, that his sexuality was never the problem. She replied after a moment's hesitation. I think the problem was that you cheated on me, so you could have just let me know up front, you know, what your style was. I guess that's short for lifestyle. She says, I'm bisexual. That's cool. I've dated bisexual men. Let me know what it is up front. Charlamagne basically said, it's different when it's a man, though. And then the yucky blucky fruitcake, rapper was quick to make it clear that it truly doesn't matter if a man is bisexual or not. She only cares about whether he's faithful or honest to her, saying, I'll accept you for who you are. It doesn't really matter. I think it's cheating on top of lying and secrecy about what you are, about who you are as a person. She also went on to state that she would absolutely be happy dating a queer man, saying, it's like, how can I be bisexual and then I'm going to not date somebody who's bisexual? Why? Because he's a man? And then, of course, DJ Dumbass Envy basically suggested that people look at it differently when a man identifies as bisexual, saying, in this world, it's okay for a woman to be with another woman, but for a man to be with another man, people look at that differently than a bisexual relationship. And she said, absolutely not. I don't see it that way. This is what she said. I think that sexuality is fluid and I really don't give a damn. And what it is basically that you need more women that think like her instead of y'all going after these damn bird brains who sit up in here and think that, oh yeah, you gay or you gonna cheat on me. I'm like, but wait a minute, you be with a whole heterosexual and they cheat on your ass. So what is that different? How is that different than a bisexual? Because y'all think they being greedy. Those are stereotypes. And there are bisexual people that it's like, yeah, if I'm with a woman, I'm specifically with that woman in that relationship. Yeah, they could look at a man. What, I can't glance and look at other people? Like my eyes are only supposed to be exclusive on you. And that's what I don't like about a lot of these relationships. Well, a lot of y'all run around like these people are y'all property, like it's ownership. These people are not your cattle. They're not like a little dog that you take care of. Y'all supposed to be in an equal partnership. But I do think that it was wrong on his part because he made an assumption that she wouldn't be what's the word? She wouldn't be accepting of who he is. So he decided to take it upon himself to go mess around with another man because he thought that she would be like the other black girls that he's been in a relationship with that would basically call him the F word, that wouldn't be there for him. But you have to give people the opportunity. If you're going to be in these type of relationships, if you're a bisexual person, if you're a trans person, if you're a homosexual, you have to give people, if you are the other, the ability to turn you down. You should not be able to take that situation in your hands because you're worried about rejection. If you truly stand in who you are as a person, you should have given a girl like a Doechii the opportunity. And I understand that a lot of people, it's easier said than done, and people don't want to get hurt. But for the most part, it's like you don't want to, I wouldn't want to steer someone the wrong way and hurt their feelings or cheat on them because it's easier to cheat than to be honest with who I am as a person. It's like, yeah, I'm bisexual, but if you can't be with that, then okay, I'll find me some other pussy. That should be or vice versa. That should be the overall assessment. But I understand a lot of people aren't able to take rejection when it comes down to certain things like that. So yeah, that's what it is on that. So yeah, I'm glad. It's like we need more people like a Doechii to have that dialogue and open it up. And maybe because she is Gen Z, a Gen Zer, that they see sexuality differently than Gen X, boomers, the silent generation, a lot of the older people, because they weren't exposed to homosexuality, bisexuality, or being like the queerness in general. Even when I was coming up as a queer person in the 90s and the 2000s, I wasn't really that exposed to certain things. Now we're starting to see more and more of the exposure. So a lot of these kids, the new generation, Gen Z, Gen Alpha, they've grown up in this era of being exposed more to sexuality and gender identity and these sort of things. So they're way more open-minded. And we just need, like I said, more people like Doechii to push this narrative so that way, you know, people see it from a different point of view because everybody else in that room, they're over the age of 40. And even though Jess Hilarious, I believe, is in her 30s, she looked like she in her damn 40s. So I say, oh, this is the same. What do y'all think of this story? Whatever you're in regards of Doechii speaking out on bisexuality. Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Okay, so now we have comments. Makes me think of, look up. Oh, you talking about the way Perez be talking? Yes, what is coming up? It's like, why are you talking like that? Leave his ass out in Vegas where he belongs. And that was the one I was reading yesterday when I was talking about Billie Eilish, and you had to be up in the nosebleed in order to get that footage of her getting something thrown at her. Yeah, I know you was talking about Perez. Funnily, I remember that. I said, I'm going to watch Monica's interview late. Wait, which Monica has an interview? And you said, oh, wow, this is a marathon show. You know, I always do these. Oh, you talking about the one, Wendy? Because I saw someone bitching saying, are all the drag contestants trans now? Seems like it. Look, they just have to. I was like, at this point, they could do an all trans season of Drag Race, as in like All Stars. I don't know why they don't do themes in regards of Drag Race All Stars at this point. Because yeah, the list is definitely getting longer in regards of, you know, the amount of Drag Race queens that are coming out as trans. So I definitely understand like how this is all going. I wouldn't be surprised if this. Oh wait, there might be some. I mean, I don't know what to say on that. I was gonna say something, I totally forgot. But anyway, let's move on. So you said Wendy stole the "How you doing" line from a black. Of course she did. It's an OMG. Radio Wendy was unhinged. Then her TV counterparts. Yeah, she definitely had to. She definitely had to scale it back if she was going to be on TV. Wendy was ruthless back in the day. She stole Queen of All Media Monica from Howard Stern, who's been he's been calling himself King of All Media. She was Queen of All Media. And it was like, yeah, I totally get it, because she was the opposite. Like, it was Howard Stern and Wendy Williams were pretty much ruling the airwaves at that time. So Queen of All Media definitely makes sense. But now you got Perez Hilton calling himself the Queen of All Media. He calls himself the Queen of All Media, the gossip gangster. He calls himself all kinds of names. I don't know why. You forgot to add asshole to that, too. And you said, can we say a prayer for Usher, who's still recovering from the punishing? No, Doechii in the minority with that mindset. I'm with her on that, though. Well, I'm sure that she is in the minority, but hopefully it's like we can have this conversation about bisexuality, because people do feel like bisexuality is not a real thing. They think it's just somebody being greedy, that you want to just have your cake and eat it. But I'm like, what if that stop anybody from going out having a multitude of people they can mess with? Ezra said, it's a shame Doechii's ex denied himself a healthy bi relationship and chose to be, because you out here decide to make a decision on you thinking that you knew how she was, what her stance on bisexuality or you coming out as bisexual was going to mean. But you should have just given her the opportunity to either accept it or not. That's what you should have did, but you didn't. And I think a lot of people get in that space. That's what they were saying sometimes about trans people. It's like, you should have given the opportunity. You should just be upfront and honest. But there's a lot of people that are upfront and honest about being trans. There's this thing, and I saw Sasha Colby was talking about this earlier, that this narrative that trans people are going around tricking people. A lot of times these men know who they getting with and who they seeking out. Then there was this picture of T.S. Madison put herself up back in the day with her, but she looked like she had no chest. She had her man butt. She had no ass before she got all that silicone injected in her ass and showing her meat and all the little taco meat from pubes in between her little crotch area, and was showing that when she looked like a brick. She said that's what she was pulling all the men. So they be knowing what they want out in these streets. So there's that. But anyway, as it says, to be fair, sometimes it's not safe to be upfront. Yeah, that is true too. That, yeah, a lot of times people gotta feel you out or be in a public place, because it's like, oh, if I come out as trans, I don't want you beating me up or killing me or God knows what else you're going to do. And that has happened. So for people to be like, yeah, you need to be honest about transness, how can you when you have to worry about your safety? Your safety is the more important thing. It's not easy being othered in this world. Nancy Courtney said, I don't care about secrecy. Cheating is the problem. Exactly. It's like, if you're going to cheat, then that pretty much changes the situation. But anyway, so we're at the end of today's show. Thank you all for tuning in to the latest episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. If you have not already, please hit that like button and that subscribe button. Also, smash the notification button so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. I'm going to try to come on tomorrow, but tomorrow's going to be relatively busy. I know I got my garden, the mess with garden Christmas party. Then I got to go get an outfit for the Drag Race season 17 premiere. So I got a lot of running around to do. So if I'll try to squeeze in a little something tomorrow. Maybe it'll probably be like a little short show. But anyway, love you all for watching. Like I said, if you have not done it already, please hit that like button, that subscribe button. Also smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live. I'm definitely going to put the timestamps and stuff in the show once the live is done. But I got to eat something first. I'm starving. So it will be up in there within the next 24 hours. So love you all for watching. Love you all for tuning in. Love you all for those who were in the comments chatting with me throughout this show. And until next time, y'all know the deal. Ciao, darlings.